Hello, we are live. Okay, yeah, I think we're good. How's everybody doing? We've got someone said, "Oh, good, more trademark stuff." Yeah, I have no idea why that's like two trademark related dramas back to back. Well, not back to back, but like from one week to the next. But yeah, this one is a little less complicated. This one's a little less complicated, I think, than the last one. This one is very straightforward and just super bad. But yeah, hey, welcome. Somebody said howdy. I wish you a howdy over here from the American South. All right. I have not an update, but a little bit of context I'd like to provide. Don't mind me. I'm also just trying to get my second monitor up and running as I'm talking to all of you, but it's not working. Anyways, I got vaccinated. I got a vaccine booster, which is great. Those are things that you should do. I got the Tdap booster, which I'm happy about because I don't want to get tetanus or whooping cough or diphtheria. I don't think those are things that should have to happen in the year of our Lord 2026. That being said, under normal, like, this is a normal response, but I'm kind of tired though. Like, I feel fatigued. I feel a little bit of brain fog. I wound up sleeping like much longer than I wanted to, obviously, because I'm just having a normal reaction to the vaccine. But yeah, no, dog. Like, I'm gonna do my best for sure, to like bring the energy. But I also feel a little bit off, so we will see how this goes. Someone said who's out for vaccination. Yeah, exactly. Because chat, let me tell you this, it's better to be a little drowsy the next day than it is to get whooping cough and die. So stay up to date and do what I did. Can I influence you to get vaccinated? That's what I would like to do. Some vaccines will do that. Yeah, this is a very normal response that I'm having, and it's to be expected. I expected it, but alas. Someone said that's a chip implanting. No, I know you're kidding. No vaccine conspiracy theories. Please, we cannot let YouTube think that's what we're doing here on the stream, or I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna get in trouble. Someone said I read and I'm ugly. I just came here to say that. Don't worry. If the whole phrase hot girls read is like sus to you in the first place, we're gonna break down what exactly it means. It's also, if you're new and you're wondering like what's going on, the first 30 minutes of my streams are exactly what you're getting now, which is just the app session. And then around the 30-minute mark, that's when we get into the topic of the day. Today, we'll be talking about a creator, seller, TikToker, Instagram bookish influencer, and her attempt to trademark the phrase hot girls read, which you could imagine the hot girls across the world were not very happy about because that's actually just farcical to even think that you would have the right to trademark something that people have been saying for years. But it's okay. There's a lot going on there, and I'm happy to get into all of it later. Some side jumped in just in time. Yes, you did. Well, kind of. I mean, I'm going to be waffling a little bit. Also, oh crap, my AC is going off. I'm going to turn it off. Even though I feel like low-key, you guys can't even really hear the AC from in here. No, you can. I'm going to turn it off. It would be nice if you couldn't, but alas, you got to do what you got to do. Okay, hold on. Mode off. Great. I was going to say something else. Oh, yeah. Update from hell. I'm still watching Love Island. I can only get through one episode a day, which is bad because it means I'm having trouble catching up to where it is now. But yeah, that's still happening, which is fun. Okay. Take 2 on trying to get my second monitor to work. You know it's a shot in the dark always. Sometimes I feel like I don't understand what is even wrong with it, because like either you're connected to the same network or you're not. Sometimes they act like they're connected to the same network. Everybody's saying they can't hear the AC. Okay, well, you know what I'm going to do? I believe you guys, but later I'm going to record just offline with my AC and see if I can't hear it. Because if I can't hear it, I'm going to bump it. I'm going to be running that joint all day. It's summertime here below the Mason-Dixon line. And it is hot, as it is in many other places in the world. Or it's not summertime. I shouldn't have said that. When does summer actually start? Hold on. I don't want to like mislead people. But summer is approaching. That's what I'm trying to say here. Let's see. PC. Okay. When? Oh, my keyboard's not working. Oh, yes, it is. When does summer start? It's almost summer, June 21st. We're mere days away from summer, and it's not going to be fun or cute for any of us. Well, I mean, maybe you guys have really awesome, lovely summers wherever you are, but I'm telling you right now, that's not how it is here in North Carolina. Someone said, did you get the flood dealt with? Yes, thankfully. Any water damage issues I took care of a while ago. I appreciate you checking though. Someone said, living in Arizona, I feel you. Oh, I bet you do. Y'all got that dry heat, I think. That's my conception of Arizona as being a very dry place. No, thank you. Someone said 10 days left. We're almost there. Let's go. But yeah, I'm excited about that. Not much else going on, really. I was thinking, as long as I'm not just completely like bonked by the time we get towards the end of the stream, I was thinking about maybe doing Reddit stuff and Slate relationship advice. Dear Prudence, also known as Dear D'Angelo. I may not, because I may end the stream early, even though I really don't want to. So let's pray that I wake up a little bit more between now and then. But yeah, I think it's been several weeks since we've done any Reddit-y type things. If this is your first time catching a Reddit segment, don't worry. We know it's rage bait, and we read it on purpose because it's funny. That's how I feel. Someone said Reddit is so cringy. Reddit is beyond cringy. I can't stand that platform. And yet, I find myself gravitating towards it, but I try to relegate it to once a month or less than, and I find it's better that way. Someone said meme of the day. I genuinely don't even have a meme of the day for you today on this of all days. Hold on, wait, maybe I do. Let me see. Photos. I'm sure I've downloaded something recently that someone sent me. Okay, you know what? We'll just use this, which was the last thing that I saved because I found it funny. Share. I'm going to put it in my OneDrive, and then I'll be able to pull it up so you all can see. Or I would if my OneDrive was working. It would be a little bit easier to do that. Okay, great. Let's see. I saved this one, and I was like, this is honestly me when, well, anything happens at all. Okay, let's see. Someone said Midwest summer is awful. It's just extreme heat and severe weather. Yeah, no, the heat is so, it's scary, man. Okay, here. I'll make this bigger for you guys. This is the meme of the day. I'm sat. A phrase that people use when they're ready to hear all about the whatever's happening, the drama, the info, the story time. This is definitely me. Next time somebody starts or seems like they're about to share a story, I'm sending this to them and being like, you know what? I'm sad. Say more. I have all the time in the world today. So that's the meme of the day. You're welcome. Definitely me, like, in real life. I mean, I don't have that much energy, but you know what I mean by that. Someone said woke up to a tornado warning in Iowa. That's no fun. Gosh, I hope you guys are safe and that there's very little damage. Someone said me right now. This is a lot of you right now. Yes, a lot of you are sat. Many of you are seated. You're waiting. And I'm happy. I'm glad. Someone said when D'Angelo's live stream starts. Exactly. It's applicable. That's what I try to use for memes of the day. Ones that are applicable in multiple scenarios. Let's go. Someone says out with food right now. Oh, that sounds nice. What are you having? I'm so nosy. I'm like, can I have some? All right. So it's a tornado warnings are scary. Be safe. Yeah, those are no joke, dog. But oof. So I saw someone ask what is Love Island like a few minutes ago. I didn't answer it because I was trying to remember all of the main things I was trying to say, but it's a reality TV show. And that's all I have right now. I'm only on episode 3 of season 8, having not watched any of the other episodes. So I can't provide more info. Sorry. Sometimes I'm at the microscope at work. Whoa, STEM? Let's go. I did not get a STEM degree, and sometimes I wish I did. But then other times I am glad I didn't, because how would I have possibly been smart enough to get one of those in the first place? I'm not. Someone's just sat painting a mossy forest. Well, that just sounds lovely. I hope it turns out well. I'm sure it will. I'm about to play some good D&D, but I'm happy I get to hang out until then. Heck yeah, I'm happy to be your waiting room for your D&D game. Low-key, playing Dungeons and Dragons like seems so fun. Like if I could find a group with whom I could do that, I would happily do that. That sounds great. I don't want to be the game master because I feel like I already do a lot of adjacent things to that in my own personal life. So just give me a track and let me do my best to go along it. Let somebody else call the shots for once. So it's like crocheting a butterfly motif. Yo, that's nice. Doing Pilates. Okay, core strength. I see you. Pilates is one of those ones that people sleep on. And I don't know why. Pilates is so incredibly difficult. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say that because I'm kind of outing myself as somebody who needs to work on his core strength. But that joint's not easy though. So more power to you, for real, for real. Someone said, "Don't worry, you're not missing anything as a fellow STEM student." Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, no, I don't envy STEM people that much. I'm packing to move. I'm glad you're online. Yo, that's pretty well. Moving is stressful, but when you're done with it, it can be really nice. So I hope you get to that post-packing place soon. Someone said, "Did you know that Pilates was made by a military intern during World War II?" I did not know that. No. Pilates had me crying. Yeah. Oh man. Someone said, "I had back-to-back 12-hour shift in my labor ward in hospital, and I think I'm dying." That back 12-hour shift. Are you saying that you worked for 36 hours straight? Because that is wild. Thank you for doing so, but holy crap, bro. That's not it. I remember once I had literally I was on a shift, not at a hospital, for 12 hours, and I was wiped out. So that wasn't fun. I can't imagine anything like that. Someone said, "I've been doing Pilates for 15 years and I'm still about to quit." Yeah, that would be me. Hopefully I would improve. But I mean, like, I feel like it's a common misconception that people who work out in any form all enjoy it. Does anybody here do some form of workout, but you still hate it every single day just as much as you did the first day? Because that's literally me. I know, like, I'll talk about it with some people, or they'll ask me whatever, and I'll tell them, like, oh, how much I'm doing or the kinds of things I'm doing, and they'll be like, "Oh, I can't, like, I hate working out." And I'm just like, well, what gave you the impression that I actually enjoy this? It's not fun. There are some people who actually enjoy it, and I do not trust those people. I don't trust those people at all. If you are actually like, yeah, I'm doing hard things and this is making me happier, something is off. Something is off. Someone said it's satisfying but not easy. It's satisfying, I agree. It makes me happy that I'm doing it maybe after the fact. One thing that they tell us during, because I take classes for some of the stuff I do, and one thing that they say pretty commonly is like, "You're doing this for you tomorrow." And that's easier to rationalize when you're like halfway through something that's really difficult and you're like, "Why am I doing this? I hate this. I want to go home." But if you just think of it like, "I'm doing this for me later," then it's easier to, well, lie to yourself and convince you to do anything. Someone said, some of the people who like working out is because they get a body rush akin to runner's high when they work out. I don't even experience runner's high from running. And I feel really like, I'm salty about that because everybody talks about this like phenomenon, and it is a real thing when you're like endocannabinoids or whatever are like firing off during a certain point in your run and you're feeling I don't know, invigorated, something. And maybe if that happens to me, I'm just not perceiving it as a runner's high or something. But yeah, for some reason that never happens. It gets easier as I keep going, but I never hit a point where I'm like, yes, finally, heaven and earth are aligning. Someone said me neither. Yeah, I don't understand that one. But it's okay. It's okay. So I'm so jealous. I'm forever jealous of runners who actually experience the high. They're just built different, I guess. Someone said my dad always said, I hate going to the gym, but I always feel better once I'm done. Yeah, I feel the same way. I also really hate that it helps regulate my various disorders. That pisses me off. Why? Because that's the same thing that neurotypical people will always tell you of like, oh, just go out and exercise and then you'll feel better. And it's like, no, people still need help, therapy, and medication. You can't solve everything by going outside, but it does help a little bit. I still would never admit that, though. I'm never admitting that. You're not winning this debate. I'm still right. But it pisses me off so bad that it actually does help me quite a bit. Someone said it's just so boring. I tried to use recumbent bike so I can crochet because I have to multitask. That is fair. Finding things that you can do while doing other things. That was so vague, but you know what I'm saying. Can be really beneficial, honestly. Someone says, feel like I need to run like a dog, just get all the nervous energy out. Yeah, sometimes I just feel like I have the zoomies, literally. I know I'm an adult human and not a dog, but sometimes I do feel like I literally just have the zoomies. I just want to... You guys know what the zoomies are, right? You guys have dogs, probably, a lot of you. Hold on. Let me see if I can find a gif of this. Where's the one? I love this one. This is me. I just alternate between periods of doing this for no reason and then nothing. And I don't know why, but that's okay. Also, dogs have so much energy. Like, that could never be me. Bro almost did a flip. It's amazing. Someone said, what did I miss? Nothing. Don't worry. Someone said, remember how easy running was as a kid? I miss that. When you're a kid, you don't know how good you have it. I think the main thing, though, that I miss from being a kid, it's not being outside and stuff like that. It's nap time. I was just such an idiot. I've said this before on stream. I'll say it again. When I was a kid, I fought against every single nap that adults tried to impose upon me. I'm talking about I was literally like 4 and 5. And it's like, it's nap time. And I'm like, well, I don't want to take a nap. So, and now that I'm 27 going on 28, I can't think of anything better than someone who is not me giving me permission to go to sleep during the middle of the day. And everybody allows this and creates a quiet environment where I can do this and no one is expecting anything of me. I'm sad. I missed nap time because I always just wanted to, like, I don't know, when it mattered, when it actually mattered, I didn't realize how good it was, but that's okay. Someone said, as someone who is physically disabled, it can help, but Lord, it's hard. Oh, you mean like physical exercise? Yeah, there's all kinds of like things that it does help with, but motivating yourself to get through it can be the tricky part. But, you know, it'd be like that. Someone said, I love naps. It's not fair that we don't carry that throughout life. Literally, it's not. Also, I have an unpopular opinion. I'm just kidding. I literally stole this from like a Tumblr post. But you know how low-key in like the Lord of the Rings, the hobbits are technically considered to still be under adolescence until they're like 30? I may be lying about this. I may be misremembering or confusing this with some other fantasy series. But basically, I feel like that should apply to humans too. Like, obviously, if you're, you know, above the legal age of majority, you are still responsible for yourself, but it would be nice if we all got a little bit more grace instead of immediately getting labeled adults just because we turned 18. So I want that. Somebody in chat said F naps. F naps. Are you like that one celebrity who hates naps? Wait, who is that guy? Celeb who hates naps. There's this one guy who, oh, it's John Bernthal. John Bernthal, I guess for some reason, actor, I believe he's an actor, just literally hates naps. So I imagine that you and he could be friends. Hold on. I'm gonna boost this volume. This clip is so funny to me.
I don't take naps, man. I don't take naps. I just don't have time for naps, man. Fuck, that's for the fucking birds, man. I just ain't doing that shit.
Dude, this motherfucker takes naps. I don't trust people to take naps, dude. I just found that out. He doesn't take naps, dude. He's a grown-ass man. No, you don't fuck... Dude, yeah, it's like, dude, like, the whole world's moving while you're napping, bro. It's fucking... I can't fuck with a nap. I can't... Oh.
Is that you? I understand not liking them for yourself, for sure, which is just what this person was expressing. Obviously, I'm making a joke here. There's nothing wrong with not liking naps. But John Bernthal's, like, seemingly strong feelings about other people who take naps take me out. Because I'm like, brother... The whole world is moving and we're napping. Yes, exactly. This is my idea of paradise. But the John Bernthals of the world can continue being, you know, awake. I will be happily sleeping. Happily sleeping. Someone said, I understand him. I really don't understand that. I love naps, honestly. I don't like those kinds of naps where you're completely out of control of your own time and you fall asleep against your will and then, like, 45 minutes passes and you feel like you've messed up your entire day. But that's not what naps have to be, though. Naps can very much be within your control. They can be part of your I don't know, routine. And it's bad too because, like, I'm being very hypocritical because I did used to be somebody who really didn't like them, but now I just love them. They're fantastic. Someone said bro is still the kid refusing the naps. You know what? And he's within his right to do that. The way he is in this clip is how I was when I was like 4, and they were like, it's nap time, and I'm like, haha, to you. Someone said I plan my day around naps. Me. I make sure there can always be a space in my day where a nap is not going to ruin everything. Someone said I fell asleep for 5 minutes one day and woke up the next week. It does feel like that sometimes. I really, really, really hate like being asleep when I don't want to. And maybe that's what anti-nap people associate napping with. And if that's the case, I understand it. Someone says siestas are normal in Spain. Let's bring that over here, please. Normalize siestas everywhere. Someone said naps are whimsy. Exactly. And I think we could all use a little bit more whimsy in our lives. Personally, that's just me. You know, one thing that I didn't talk about, or that like I'm purposely not talking about, I know this is kind of crazy for me to bring up a mere 3.5 minutes before we get into the main topic, because it's actually technically a much bigger topic. But have y'all seen like the Hudson Williams heated rivalry actor swastika face Sharpie controversy? I definitely thought about talking about that, but then I realized A, I don't have much to add, and B, I don't think I would be creating a productive space in a video comment section were I to cover this. But that's happening a lot. If you're wondering why today's story seems a little small, it's because I opted out of talking about a bigger one. For those of you who don't know, Hudson Williams, well, I hope I'm not getting his name wrong, by the way. No, I'm not. Hudson Williams is an actor from Heated Rivalry, and while he was at a party, open image. While he was at a party, somebody drew a swastika on him, which is literally insane. For so many reasons. First of all, that's never okay to do to another person. I also just feel like you can't ignore the context of literally just drawing a swastika on a person of color is crazy as hell. Anyway, and so this picture existed. It's not something that he posted or anything like that. Allegedly or apparently, this picture was on someone's Visco, aka someone that knows him in real life used a photo editing app, and this picture was temporarily within their storage. And so then internet people found his personal acquaintance's Visco and obtained this picture and is spreading it, I guess trying to what, I don't really know. But as you can see, he has all kinds of stuff written literally all over him, and you don't know what's on your forehead. So obviously I believe, and you can correct me if I'm getting this story wrong, because I don't have like an outline for it, because again, I'm not really covering it. But Hudson's people were like, hey, he didn't know that this was on his face. this was drawn on his face, and they didn't really have much to add beyond that. And it's turned into this whole big debate about like some people who are obviously wrong. Like in my opinion, it's obviously wrong to say that he is in the wrong. Duh. I mean, he didn't like do anything. In fact, this is like hate speech essentially that was done to him, in my opinion. There is a lot of discussion about like who gets defended and who gets the benefit of the doubt when things like this happen. And I agree that these are important conversations to have. It just definitely still doesn't change the fact that like, why would you be mad at someone for essentially someone else's choice to add hate speech to their face? It's very odd to me. So that's kind of my little stance on that. And then Simu Liu, well, that is really big text. Someone I've talked about before in a video who I think is actually pretty cool, weighed in and kind of talked about like what he views as hate campaigns that are targeted against Asian actors, which if anybody would know, I think he could speak to that. And I thought that there was a lot of like interesting points brought up for sure, which I agreed with. But yeah, I think mostly just people are terrible. And I don't see Hudson Williams as having been one of them in this specific case. Is what I'm saying about that. I mean, it would be so different if like he was posting this on his Instagram or whatever, but there's literally no proof that I saw anywhere of Hudson himself posting this or demonstrating awareness that this had even happened. Someone said, why are we mad at someone for being hate crimed? I couldn't really tell you. I couldn't really tell you. But anyways, yeah, that I really was like weighing the pros and cons, and I was like, we could totally go through this whole thing. But you know what? You know the reason that I didn't do it, or there's a lot of reasons I didn't do it. Because the heated rivalry fan base derogatory, the bad version. Brother, they are getting terrible. Now listen, I'm not uniquely singling out Heated Rivalry, the franchise. If you have watched this show and read the books and you like it and you participate in online spaces where people talk about this from fan perspectives, that's not bad. Please continue doing that. I'm literally talking about this like subsection of Heated Rivalry. They're not even fans, really. They're just bad people using Heated Rivalry as a front for their bad peopleness. And they are going on this like crazy rampage right now against Hudson and I think some of the other actors as well, just spreading like nasty, awful, hateful stuff, literally talking about like we want the actors to kill themselves. And I'm like, what? Right now there was some wild racist and also like homophobic stuff happening amid the subsection of people who say that they're Heated Rivalry fans but are actually just awful people. So yeah, sorry if you're encountering that, but you're literally just trying to operate in fan spaces for your hockey show. Maybe it would take more research than I have currently done for me to speak to every aspect of why it seems as though Hudson Williams is currently getting targeted with this manufactured backlash. Simultaneously though, I do still appreciate the flip side of like, it's nice to see people maybe getting defended and given the benefit of the doubt, but you know, if only we could extend that in all cases where it's necessary. Someone said me, this kind of fan base never find me. Yeah, for real. Someone said they had been bullying the other bisexual actor to watch Heated Rivalry and then choose to be homophobic or queerphobic, biphobic towards an actor involved in it. It's just like, what are you guys doing? I don't know. I hate this. I hate this for real. Someone said they were majorly hating on him for having a girlfriend too. Fellas, it's over, dog. It's definitely over. Someone said, would someone tell you they're drawing a swastika on you? Like, how would you know? Literally, I don't know what my forehead looks like at any given time. If you're passed out, blackout, drunk at a party, like, this is one of the only cases where I would believe someone who said this because he's at a party in the photo. But yeah, that I felt like was very unfortunate. And I'm just like, man, this is a mess, dog. Some say it's really easy to love popular gay shows and be racist and homophobic. Unfortunate, but true. Man, that's rough, buddy. All right, anyways, just throwing that out there as a mini topic that does exist. You could certainly look into it more if you were interested. I am going to go ahead and pull up my outline. Someone said so many runners and writers are being run off social media. Wait, hold on a second. You just reminded me of something. Chat, I'm about to sound like I'm making stuff up. I need you to work with me for this little story time. Do you guys remember Tayo Cruz? Light it up like it's dynamite. That song? I don't remember the song. I don't remember the lyrics. I swear to God, there were not many things that I would say. I promise you remember. But listen, if you were here in 2010 and you ever heard like a pop music, English language pop music station, you have heard the song Dynamite by Tayo Cruz. He is absolutely a that song was so good. I mean, it got to a point where I hated it, absolutely, because it did play too much, but that was a fun time. Things were different. I wouldn't say they were better by any means. So it seems like most of you remember this. Does anybody remember when Tayo Cruz tried to join, was it TikTok? And everyone just bullied him off the app for no reason. I was there and I saw that. I don't remember if I was on a break or if this was like slightly before I started doing commentary content. I may even be misremembering what happened, but I specifically remember like a 1-day period where Tayo Cruz was like, it's me, Tayo Cruz, who made Dynamite, and I'm on TikTok now. And people were just like, I don't understand what the point of the bullying was. I don't understand what people's like core thesis was. He didn't seem to have done anything. He's not seemingly a bad person. No one was saying we don't want you here because of this. It was literally just like, oh, we have an opportunity. Someone said, was this like 2019? I literally think this might have been like 7 years ago. Let me see if I just Google like Tayo Cruz bullied off TikTok. Probably nothing is going to show up. Oh no, something totally showed up. Hold on. We have a little bit of proof for this. The BBC. Tayo Cruz says he was ambushed by hate on TikTok. I actually remember this. I pulled this out of the depths of my memory because people were talking about randomly bullying people. Okay, Tayo is not lying. I was here when this happened. It says, pop star Tayo Cruz says social media sites need to change their practices after his experience on TikTok left him with suicidal thoughts. Okay, that's actually terrible. The singer quit the video sharing app last month after other users left hateful comments under his posts. He says TikTok's algorithms created a feedback spiral that amplified negative reactions, prompting more and more users to target him. It was like an ambush, he tells the BBC in an interview. Yeah, so it says after a break from the music industry, he joined TikTok in September, gained 85,000 followers quickly, but says he was immediately targeted by abusive comments. That is true. I remember seeing them of people just basically, like, I don't remember exactly what the comments were saying, but it was obviously just like, we're going to keep posting this awful stuff until he stops making videos because we don't want to see him. And I was like, why? Because he made a song in 2010 that was played too many times. He said, I think there's a mob mentality that happens in comment sections. A lot of the time people will see something, then look at the comments to give them the answer of how they should feel about it or how they behave. Did he just kind of eat TikTok up all the way back in 2020? Because now this is definitely still how the app works. 100%. This is still how the app works. I think that's what happened with myself. I was making fun videos and then someone decided to be toxic and a bunch of other people decided, oh, I'm going to join in on that. Users accusing him of like begging for clout. Users claiming he was deleting critical comments. He said he wasn't. I didn't lie, but I can't prove a negative. It's like you're being prosecuted for a crime you didn't commit, etc. Yeah, no, that... Never let that was wild, dude. Maybe he is problematic in some way. Probably actually he is because, well, everyone is. But I just feel like even if that's true, the people commenting this didn't know that, and that's not why they were doing this. They were just being mean towards a temporarily socially acceptable target. So yeah, all this stuff that's happening right now with like the heated rivalry fan base and stuff, It's like these people think that they're doing something new or they're really innovators in the space of online hate. And it's like you're literally just playing by the same tired playbook that has always existed for as long as we've had comment sections. It's wild, man. It's wild. Someone says it's like that everywhere, not just on TikTok. It definitely is. I still always maintain it feels worse on TikTok because there's so little context attached to everything. But yes, on a grand scale, Reddit randomly chooses people to hate for no reason. YouTube does for sure. I do feel like low key you can get more context because people go into YouTube with their minds a little bit more open. You're open to watching a 20-minute video, 25, 30. You're open to watching multiple videos on the same topic or even spending hours learning about something. So I don't feel like it's always as immediately bad, but it still happens. Yeah, it's just all across the place. And then don't even get me started on like the bad places like Instagram and Facebook. Oh, nah. Someone said, has the main topic started? Well, it would have started 9 minutes ago, but then I got distracted talking about heated rivalry, controversy, plus online bullying, and the disappearance of Tayo Cruz from TikTok, which is fun. Someone said, can you block people on TikTok? I know you can on other social medias. I don't know if you can. It would be nice if we all did just block people we didn't want to hear from. Oh my God. Imagine how peaceful the world would be. Like if instead of listening to people like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example, Nicki Minaj. Instead of living in a world where Nicki Minaj sang her latest horrifically bigoted, MAGA, incorrect, misinformation type thing, instead of that having to be headlines for the 27 millionth time, we all just blocked Nicki on Twitter. And then she tweeted and nothing would happen. I fantasize about that. Now, of course, I don't get the right to fantasize about that because I literally create content, typically amplifying things that would be better off ignored. But I will say I do always have a list of people I will never make a video about once they get beyond the beyond. And Nicki Minaj is definitely there. She definitely there for real, bro. Someone said I blocked 200 people, 200 plus people on TikTok and IG. More power to you. We should all have blocked more people. Someone said I block celebrities and politicians all the time. You literally should. That's like an act of resistance, a very small one, but I like that. I really do. So I'm a block button warrior. Disturbing my peace on my phone? Absolutely not. That's a good way of thinking about it too. Like low key, this is your internet experience. Low key, this is your phone. I'm not trying to act like cyberbullying doesn't exist or like you can just close your eyes and the internet's a beautiful place. But what I mean is we do have a bit more influence over the things we see than we tend to exercise. And I feel like a world where we just are a little bit quicker to hit the block, delete, ignore, X, close, tab button. Maybe we could have more fun over here on our phones. Perhaps. Anyways, some say I block the right wingers. Block them all, dude. Block them all. All right. Well, that was a 40-minute discussion. I think it was fun, though. I am going to go ahead and drink some water. And then we're going to go. We're going to go, bro. Everybody say hi. Say hi to YouTube right now. Start recording. All right, I hit record. Say hi. Oh, and keep putting those like rainbow emojis and stuff. It's still June. Y'all thought we was finna slip? Y'all thought we was finna fall off? It's June 11th. There has not been nearly enough Pride celebration. So put a very like gay hi in chat for the video. Sorry. Book people on the Clock app are big mad over 3 words. And I promise I can make that make sense. Basically, TikTok, specifically the book community on TikTok, is angry with a creator, a seller, who has attempted to trademark the phrase, hot girls read, which, as you can imagine, was an affront to hot girls reading everywhere. I think like this brings up so many questions about weaponizing trademark, apologies, and when to accept them or when not to accept them, main character syndrome, and how it tends to manifest in, well, you're going to see what I mean, honestly. But yeah, this is overall just a mess. So let's just dive in head first. All right, we've got it. Let's go. That was fantastic. No more highs. But I do need to drink more water, though. It's getting hotter and hotter. I cannot get away with not drinking. I need to turn on my second fan, too. All right, there we go. Oops, accidentally paused the chat. Okay, we're back. All right, y'all. Show of hands, who already knows what I'm talking about before I bring it up? I suspect that probably the majority of you don't know. Or maybe most of you do, but I feel like probably most of you don't know what this Hot Girls Read trademark fiasco is actually. But if you do know, I need you to work with me on this collaboratively. If I flub something, let me know. But I think I pretty much have the story straight. It's fairly straightforward. All right, I see some people in chat. As you can see, some people in chat are. Why am I so bad at? Okay, to be fair, everything is mirrored. Everything is mirrored on my screen. As you can see, some people in chat are already familiar with this. So we're all going to work together to try to pull the facts and make this not sound as stupid as it is. Some say I already watched a whole vid about it. Nice. Okay. Well, you're primed. You're prepared. So, give me a second. My very first link is literally not working. Wait. Okay, you know what? Screw it. We'll just do... I'm not signed into Google, but we'll just search it ourselves. Oh, wow. I open Google Trends, and the #1 search query is Charlie Kirk. That cannot be. Well, that seems so outdated. Anyways, nah, not the past 12 months, bro. 2004 through present. All right, here we go. As you can see from Google Trends, the combination of the 3 words Hot Girls Read has been said in various places on the internet, off and on to varying degrees over the years for pretty much as long as we've been stringing together words on the internet, right? But as you move a little bit closer towards now, it sort of seems to spike because everybody is upset over this trademark fiasco. Reading chat. Someone said, dude, just called Charlie Kirk old news. I mean, I'm over it. If Erica can move on so quickly, I think we should all move on just as fast. Anyways. Pulling up my next one. Now, the phrase hot girls read isn't actually referring to like the physical quality of being hot, which actually it's more of a broader deconstruction of what that even means. Is being hot actually physical? Kind of thinking about Megan Thee Stallion and her whole concept of hot girl summer. It's more so about being a hot girl is about being unapologetically you, said Megan back in 2019. Having fun, being confident, living your truth, being the life of the party, etc. So it's a positive phrase. It's a nice thing that people have been saying to be proud of the fact that they read, they enjoy their hobby, etc. And it's been this way for years. So, therefore, it was a bit odd when, and I'm pulling this from the Substack Emma Wrote What, which has a really great breakdown of this. Closing this right here. In a now deleted post, Instagram account Ali Rose Co. posts, Hot Girls Read, trademark symbol, is officially ours. 3-ish years ago, after I started reading more consistently and finally started to love to read, I put Hot Girls Read on some bookmarks and cruise, and the rest is freaking history. In the least corny way possible, that little phrase changed my life and changed the entire course of my business in a way I never saw coming. I love that because of those 3 words, a lot of you found me, and I love talking about books with you. This trademark is for the freaking girls. It's only right to celebrate with a big old Hot Girls Read drop. Oh, okay, this is an advertisement. Oh, I should have seen that coming. The biggest mock neck drop ever is coming next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. I'd love to celebrate with you because this is thanks to you. Pointing emoji, cartwheel emoji. I don't actually know what this third one is. That confetti? Anyways, you get the point. Now, I see people in chat saying 3 years for 3 what? I think that may be the biggest elephant in the room. The idea of somebody who recently actually started taking this pastime seriously only within the past 3 years, deciding to trademark a phrase that has existed since before they started reading is the audacity, man. That's a wild one. So since the trademark does not make sense at all, yeah, no. Okay, zooming out of this right now. So, kind of borrowing this from Emma Wrote What Substack. She says, "What's the deal? Why is everyone pissed? Well, this situation beautifully highlights the greed problem online communities have been facing. Stealing intellectual property for profit. Hot Girls Read isn't a thing people associate with one creator. It's a community phrase. It's a joke, a meme, a slogan that emerged organically from internet reading culture. It belongs to the same category." Sorry, my phone went off and I realized I didn't turn my notification sound off. I usually silence before streams. Okay. Everyone will be fine. The world keeps spinning. What was I saying? Oh, it belongs to the same category as phrases like book boyfriend, touch her and die, or enemies to lovers. All of these terms, Hot Girls Read included, were pieces of a collective language built by thousands of readers interacting in the bookish spaces. Yet, we do have someone claiming to own it regardless of that, and who wants to use her trademark to shut down competing merch designers who have been selling Hot Girls Read merch for a while now. Someone said, I feel so viscerally angry about this. Well, it's upsetting though. I think on a certain level, its absurdity makes it seem comical, but the idea of an individual person seeing something that multiple people are profiting from, that multiple people are taking pride in, and trying to use the copyright system to prevent everyone else from doing this and be the only one to do it is upsetting. So, validation for people who are like angry about this. It's angering behavior. Someone said this is the third video I've seen on this. Sorry. I haven't watched any of the other videos. I apologize. Anyways, and if you worry or if you're wondering why this is saying she was trying to block other people from using it, it's not just speculation. Pulling up the picture. Ali Rose co-posted in a very widely memed video at this point. Or not video, in a very widely memed Instagram story. This is celebratory, referring to the news that she apparently has this trademark. Of course, but I also want to, very gently, with peace and love, say that I officially have the trademark for Hot Girls Read in the following categories. Being bookmarks, stickers, notebook covers and book covers, notepads, sweatshirts, t-shirts, and hooded sweatshirts. I've seen Hot Girls Read on a lot of items from other businesses that follow me, so if that is you, please remove those listings from your site as soon as possible. Heart emoji with love. And yeah, dude, this is scummy behavior. Dog, who would... I'm trying to shift myself into the headspace of someone who thinks that they get to do this. And I'm pulling a 404 error page. I actually don't even understand this thought process at all. Someone said, ooh, woo, capitalism. Yeah, no. And a lot of people are really drawing, a lot of people are finding issue with her framing of this as like, I did this for the girls. Immediately turns around and is like, by the way, if any of you girls are using this trademark, y'all better quit. And they immediately, nah, this is a mess, dog. Someone says the with love ain't fixing nothing. Ain't fixing nothing at all. Back to this Substack post. It says Ali Rose Co makes it very clear she owns a trademark and does not want other businesses infringing on it. I've spent enough time poring over trademark disputes to know how these things play out. I've seen the takedown notices and the emails threatening further legal action if a shop owner doesn't comply. Trademarks don't exist in some vacuum fantasy land. They're enforced, and it sounds like Ali Rose Co will be doing that. And this is true. Hold on. Trying to zoom out and I'm failing. Ali Rose Co would just be the latest in a long line of people trying to trademark commonly used phrases so that they can then turn around and bully other people who are using them. For example, just pulling this from Reddit from 6 years ago, people who sell things on Etsy have been dealing with this on some form or another for a while. An unexpected infringement. So, boy mom, that's a phrase that is used in many places. apparently a company, Boy Mom LLC, has all terms for that copyrighted, and this person was dealing with trouble having that phrase on things that they were trying to sell. And it says right here, someone follows up, the people who own the term shabby chic are like this too. Same with fairy dust, which, like, the idea of the phrase fairy dust being trademarked and no one can use it is so wild to me, because I swear to God, like, that could refer to so many different things. There's no way it's associated with one brand. Zooming out right here. So this person right here says, that one. I had several items taken down by that one, and if I remember correctly, a lot of the sellers got hit with reports. It was all over the Etsy forums for a while. Couldn't ever really verify if they actually owned the trademark. Follow-up messages and emails asking for proof were never returned. And of course, messages to Etsy went nowhere, etc., etc. So I feel like, low-key, this Ali Rose person is just part of a tale as old as time. This behavior is not new. It's unfortunately all too common. Someone said, why are they claiming words that have existed for centuries, like money? Also, it doesn't even seem like that smart of a business strategy, because how much money are you losing due to somebody else's decision to sell something that has a commonly used phrase on it? Also, by the way, when y'all see some of this merch that Ali Rose was trying to exclusively sell, you're going to be like, there ain't no way that we just did all of that for that. Someone said the trademark and patent office needs to wake the F up and be strict. Yeah, maybe some more due diligence, please, would go a long way. Someone says, I'm going to trademark D'Angelo. I feel like it's a very American thing to do, trademark words and phrases you didn't come up with and most people use. Yeah, I think I'm too American to recognize this as uniquely American, but you're exactly right, for sure. It feels very American to me, though I have little to compare it to, because it's very common here, unfortunately. Someone says the book community is so woke. Why would she ever think this could work? Yeah, these are the wrong people to mess with, dude. They really are. All right, so moving on. Also, if you're new to this chat, woke is a positive word around here. This is something that we try to be on purpose. We try to be this on purpose. Give me a second. I'm pulling my next link. Okay. And so one thing that a lot of people were pointing out is, and even in my one thing a lot of people are pointing out, even in my chat, as you can see, it's such a common phrase. It absolutely was not ideated by this person, especially not within the last 3 years or anything like that. And that is why over here on the Romantasy subreddit, people were not happy either. So it's never a good thing when cross-platform people are pissed at you. Hot Girls Read is now trademarked 8 days ago, Romantasy. Hey, so apparently Ali Rose Co., a company that sells bookish merch, has trademarked Hot Girls Read, etc. I'm genuinely confused about how this even happened. I've been on Bookstagram for what feels like a millennium, and Hot Girls Read has been part of online reading culture for years. I've been reading a couple threads and comments about the topic. Most people associate it with Megan Thee Stallion's hot girl era, and since then it's basically become a common internet phrase used by readers, small businesses, and content creators, etc. This person asks, am I overreacting? Or does this seem a little ridiculous to anyone else? Again, I would chime in to say, no, I don't believe you're overreacting, and yes, it seems quite ridiculous too. If not everyone else, me at least. Someone said, let's copyright woke. That would be funny. That wouldn't be funny, but that would actually be really funny. As the copyright holder for woke, I noticed you're making anti-woke content. I'm gonna have to take down your entire channel. Sorry. That's not good. Don't do that, but that would be hilarious. Reading chat. Someone says, so at the next bookish event, they'll be getting like, why make oneself an outcast? They're not getting invited to the next bookish event with this behavior. But I think also, to answer your question of like, why would you even do this? It would low key because like you don't really care that much about the community at all. But anyways, more reactions, like, it seems very ridiculous to me, such a commonly used phrase, etc. So hopefully I've painted a picture of why this is ridiculous. Now we can get into some of these responses. Someone said, have you seen the copyright issue with Tubi Tape? It was also on TikTok. I don't even know what that is. I have not seen that one. I'll probably look it up later. Someone said she apologized in her Instagram. Yeah, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. All right, so blah 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 blah. Before an apology, before an actual apology, we get this Instagram story update. I've seen and read a lot of people's anger, says Allie Rose, about me trademarking Hot Girls Read, so I want to chat about it and clear some things up the best I can. I filed this trademark to protect my products from others copying it, which is common to do when selling products. I was advised to trademark it when it initially started to gain traction from the bookmarks and sweatshirts in 2023. Chat, I want to call this a lie. A lie is not a very nice word to use, but does anybody here disagree with her assertion that this phrase started to gain traction in 2023? Frankly, that was not supported by my research in any meaningful way. I don't actually think that happened. Reading chat. So couldn't she copyright her designs and not the phrase? Yeah, for sure. She doesn't want people ripping off her own creative work. That would be one thing. But the phrase itself and stopping people from using it wholesale as she was doing is absolutely not it. Someone said the worst part is how generic her work and designs are. We're going to get there for sure. Someone said a wee fib. Yeah, no, 2023. I'm not sure about that one, Allie. Someone says we joke about trademarking woke, but indeed visibly racialized person is actually trademarked. Is it? What? People are wild, dog. People are wild. Someone said trademarking design is very different than trademarking a phrase. Yeah, and to trademark a design, you would have had to have actually created something, which did not happen in this case. Anyways, moving back to this. Someone says, I feel like it might have spiked during the girl math era. That makes sense. I filed this trademark to protect... Okay, I read that. At that time, I guess being 2023, I didn't see anyone with apparel or bookmarks that said Hot Girls Read, although I'm not at all denying that they existed. Okay. Since the trademark went through, I haven't come after any small businesses / bookstores that sell products saying Hot Girls Read, asking them to take anything down directly. I did post a story outlining the categories I have trademarked in, giving heads up that those items are included, and I asked if you have HDR items in those categories to take them down from your site. There have been businesses that have copied my work in its entirety, and the message was for them, although I see why it seemed like it came from a place of aggression or malice towards other small businesses that I was not referring to. Again, like, she really thought that because she posted this as a disappearing story, we wouldn't still have access to read it after the fact and see that she actually very clearly was just saying, quote, other businesses that follow me on, quote, lots of items. That is absolutely not addressed to people who are actually ripping off my design. So this is not true. I'm sorry, Allie Rose Co. It's a no for me, dog. Someone says, but she can copy Pantone. We're going to get there in a second. Someone says, maybe she didn't see products with the phrase because she wasn't in the community. You're bringing up a really good point in that, duh. Probably you did not see anything before 2023 because, as you admitted, reading wasn't even a thing that you did. So it's a pretty good addition. I appreciate that. Someone says, hello chat, what have I missed? Not much. You got a copyright. I don't want to call them a copyright troll, but you have somebody attempting to copyright trademark a very commonly used phrase, and people are rightfully upset about it because it seems to fit a pattern of bullying behavior that other people use to shut down sellers, small stores, and people attempting to profit off of their own actual creative work. So, womp. Someone says it's giving when the React channel wanted to gatekeep React. Does anybody remember that? That is such a like distant memory to me. React channel tries to trademark reaction videos. Yeah. Oh, okay. The fact that you literally just pulled this YouTube drama from 10 years ago, that's crazy. But yes, this is absolutely giving back when the Fine brothers attempted to copyright. I forget what it was. It was literally the idea of a reaction video at all. What? Okay, so in 2025, they applied to trademark terms including kids react, adults react, blah, 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 as well as the word react itself, which could be used to form new variations of the format. Yeah, so literally, if you tried to do like, let's say you're a singer and you're like, vocal coach reacts to new Mariah Carey performance, technically that would be infringing upon the Fine Brothers trademark, which is absolutely wild, and nobody let them get away with that. In 2014, the Fine Brothers criticized chat show host Ellen for producing what could be described as a reaction video. That is so funny. Yeah, no, like there maybe are some reasons to criticize Ellen DeGeneres, but her doing proto reaction content in 2014 is not one of them. No. Someone said it started their downfall 10 years. I'm old. Wild dog. Anyways, moving on from that. It is very much giving that, but on a much smaller scale, because everything that happens on the internet is so small now. Anyways, after the seemingly half-truth that apparently this was only to protect her original design, she says, "My message wasn't clear, and I don't like the way it sounded. The goal is and was not meant to come after small businesses. I don't intend to do that whatsoever. This trademark was simply to protect myself." Again, this is kind of painful to read. The backtracking is wild. Anyways, as this was happening, obviously unhappy responses were continuing to pour in. Excuse me. Uh-oh. Copy link. Oh, here we go. This one was really petty, and I actually liked it a lot. I thought it was fantastic. Volume. Crank that. Okay.
So I want to take this time to apologize because I was doing something I wasn't supposed to be doing. I've been selling Hot Girls Read stickers for a while now, and I didn't know it was trademarked. So when I saw this post, I was like, yes, queen, absolutely. Like, I honestly, I don't know why so many people are mad about that.
Also, that's a cute sticker. That's a good design. I wonder if the things that Roseco was trying to copyright are similarly well thought out designs, he said in a way that was not at all foreshadowing.
So I want to take this time, like, I honestly, I don't know why so many people are mad about that. She has the trademark. We just wasn't fast enough. So from now on, I am going to be selling only this version.
Which says, "Hot girls don't trademark common effing phrases." I think that's fantastic. You're seeing this get parodied across the board. Actually, even the Substack post I was reading from Emma wrote what said, "Hot girls don't weaponize trademarks against small businesses." I think I've also seen "hot girls don't gatekeep" popping off as well. So unfortunately, Ali Roseco has certainly crossed over into laughingstock territory. I've also seen a lot of people say that she was being bullied, and whereas I'm sure there probably was bullying, because again, we are talking about the internet, I mostly saw people reacting this way, of just saying, wow, this is really stupid and you're a bad person for doing this, and so we're going to make fun of it, which I don't think is bullying. So just throwing that out there. Uh-oh. TikTok just logged me in. Y'all, I tried to show you a second TikTok, but I can't watch it on this computer because I'm not logged in. What the hell? Okay, hold on. I low-key don't want to log into TikTok on this computer, actually. I don't want to do it. I feel very stubborn right now. Sorry, chat. Why am I actually mad? Hold on. I'm going to try opening this in a different tab. Maybe I'll temporarily log into TikTok or something. I'm happy the creator was able to turn on audience controls, I guess, but like, what even is my password? I always have this recurring nightmare that when I'm typing passwords, I'm accidentally showing my screen as I'm streaming. And then before I can even hit login, like 50 different people are going to be able to log into my TikTok and take it down. Username or password doesn't match. Oh yeah, I forgot that I changed my TikTok username because I was one thing and now it's another. Okay, take two. Please work. 2-step verification. Dog. Next time, I'm just going to download the video. I'm just going to download the video. Okay, so now I'm entering this code that they sent me. Okay. Crap. I did it wrong. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is not... We're gonna try one more time. My TikTok username is just my name. My TikTok password is just the string of letters and numbers and symbols. They're gonna send me another code that hopefully I don't mess up this time. I'm gonna cry, chat. I'm gonna cry. The TikTok I'm trying to show you is not even... I'm not even trying to show you the actual video. It's the things that are in the video itself. It's so stupid. Okay, whatever. Sorry. Maybe I'll just have to move on from this because I don't want to hold the story up. I actually felt like we had a good momentum. Reading chat. Some of the only 2-step I want in my life is the dance. I do not know how to dance, which I'm not ashamed of per se, but I think life would be more fun if I did know how to do it. Okay, hold on. D'Angelo. Please, God, or whoever. I don't even care. Satan, please let me log into TikTok, Satan. This is all I'm asking for. Oh, okay, they sent me another code, which is literally the same code that they sent me the first time. What the... I'm going to crash out. It says I'm logged in. I did it. I did it. We're here. The reason I didn't want to log into TikTok is because I have all of these notifications of people following me, and I which I appreciate, but I have no intentions of posting on this platform. So I will just ignore all of the visual feedback. Okay, we're here. Sorry, chat. So boring. So very, very boring. Someone says, you so do know how to dance. I do not know how to dance. I'm not doing... I love me a bit of false humility. That way, when I do the thing that I pretend like I don't know how to do, everybody's even more impressed with me. I'm not above that. That's one of my toxic traits. But I genuinely do not know how to dance. Absolutely not. I can keep rhythm. I'm a person of rhythm. But I am not a dancer. I don't know what to tell you, bro. Someone said D'Angelo TikTok star win. Doug, I don't even... Sorry, we're getting distracted, but who cares? We'll get back to it in a second. I don't even know what I would post on TikTok. I have struggled trying to... I don't share a lot of my struggles when it comes to online content because I feel like I'm pretty locked in with most of it, but I have struggled when it comes to trying to break into the short form format. I'm frankly not very good at it. I don't really understand how to translate my strengths into a vertical short format. And so I've put like so much effort into it over the years, off and on. I've uploaded a couple shorts. They may still be on this channel. I don't know. I don't know. And it also takes me so long to make a TikTok as well, or a short form video, because I don't know how much effort you are or are not supposed to put into them. And then I watch other people's TikToks and they're literally just recording themselves like this with a tiny microphone. And I'm like, I just think I am doing this wrong. So that's why I'm not on TikTok. I tried and it was garbage for me personally. Someone says you could post you learning to dance. Maybe I'll launch a TikTok channel. Maybe I'll launch a TikTok account where I learn how to dance. The fact that I'm even saying TikTok channel should clue you into how I don't belong in this platform literally at all. Someone says opinion on DPR Ian stopping music. Did that happen? That sounds sad. Anyways, back on topic, chat. Back on topic. Gonna crank the volume up for this one. Or I would if I knew how to do that. Okay, there we go.
What is this? What is this? This is what you trademarked for? That is what you betrayed your peers and the community for? Honey,
if you want to consider this to be bullying, that's fine, but I think this is fair game, and you kind of opened yourself up to this.
And $60.
So, well,
The short and simple answer is
what is happening? Sorry, hold on. I don't know how to use this platform. Why did it start playing another TikTok? Okay. Oh, I guess when you scroll at all, it just moves on to the next one, which is such bad design. Chat. I don't want to be mean. I just want to say, someone says it looks like Target Pride shirts. Cynical merch created by someone who doesn't actually care about their community. Spot on assessment. I just want to say, that's not what was in my head when I was imagining whatever this deeply important merch was that was worth trademarking. And you know what? Honestly, if this still was an original design and this is the specific thing that you were trying to protect, you're still within your right to trademark boring, low effort merch. But it was the phrase, so obviously that was still problematic. Someone says the most plain text too. Yeah, no, I'm what? No, absolutely not, man. What do the comments on here say? I didn't even look at them. This person said it's your birthday in like the most basic boring font of all time. Hot girls read has been a thing since I was a teenager and I'm 38. Nah, bro. I find it funny that when I looked at all her TikTok shop is temporarily unavailable, so I can't even go and show you what else she was or was not trying to trademark. Sorry, someone's calling me. Oh, I should probably take this, but I'm not going to because I'm streaming. Anyways, I can't even go in and show you what all was falling under this must be protected spiel. But again, please don't take away me saying you don't deserve to protect yourself. That's just not what was happening here. Reading chat. Someone says she couldn't trademark the design because there was no design. Literally, dude. Literally. Anyways, moving on from this. Not moving on. There's still more to the story, but from the actual merch itself, a lot of people started bringing up the hypocrisy. It's not just that this was utterly ridiculous, but that this also seems to fly in the face of things that Ali Rose Co herself seems to have been violating. Someone says she graduated with a degree in graphic design. Sashay away. Did she? That can't be right. Wait, I shouldn't say that, but that can't be right. that can't be. No, I refuse to believe that. Someone said me rejecting all phone calls. I mean, I could just call them back. And I also feel like, okay, does anybody low-key feel like if it's that big of a deal, you can just text me? That's how I feel. I know that can be seen as a very Gen Z thing. I don't think it's an age thing, but I personally feel like if you're calling me, I don't have to answer, and I'm probably not going to if I don't want to, because I'm not always in the headspace to actually have a conversation. But if something is actually deeply important and you need that information conveyed to me, just text it very quickly, and then I can get back to you. And if I need to call you, I will. Sorry, that's how I use my phone. I can't change it. I prefer the text. It makes more sense to me. Someone says if it's an emergency, I call twice and text. Yes, if anybody calls me twice, I will answer for sure. If someone calls me twice, I will assume something is wrong. But beyond that, I'm sorry, I don't be answering phone calls. I really don't. I truly do not. Someone said I don't check my voicemails. Yeah, no, I don't check my voicemails. Someone says you're at work. I am quite literally at work as well. I don't have to take this call, but yeah, no, like probably the only time I would actually take a call or pause my stream and take a call is if it was my mom. And the reason for this is my mom knows my streaming schedule. She knows that Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern time, I'm likely to be streaming from noon to 4. So I do feel like if she called me during this time, I would be very concerned. I'd be like, whoa, what's going on here? But that's never really going to happen because we all live really boring lives where we don't have emergencies. So we're lucky in that regard. I never even have a reason. Someone says, I don't either. My mom used to get on my case about it. I'm a millennial. Yeah, I'm sorry. You don't got to answer your phone call, dog. Anyways, moving back to this. Blah, 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 blah. I don't like talking on the phone. It's not, unless it's with people who I enjoy talking to already. I do not enjoy talking on the phone. All right. So since we can talk if it was planned, we could talk till the cows come home. I am down to have like literally a 2-hour phone convo with you. If I knew kind of that this was the plan, but if not, let's go. All right. Someone says in the time we've been discussing this, you could have taken 3 calls. Well, yes, I'm good at wasting my time myself. As you see, I don't need the help of a phone to do so. Wrong book. Wrong video.
Trademarking Hot Girls Read, but then using somebody else's trademark. Like, Taylor Swift has all of these phrases trademarked.
Okay, wait, hold on. Let me go back a little bit.
And else's trademark.
So this is Ali Rose Co. attempting to sell this little like Pantone swatch card that has a bunch of, well, quite literally trademarked album titles on it. Fearless, Speak Now, Red, Taylor Swift. And this is kind of a cute merch idea, but brother, as you can see, this isn't about protecting jack squat. That being said, I don't think Taylor Swift as an entity should have the right to go after smaller people for making merch based off of her stuff either. I mean, now we're getting into the idea of copyright itself being a good or bad thing. I'm not saying that this was a bad action on Ali Rose Co's part. I'm just saying to turn around and then try to trademark something that is commonly used is just messed up, dog.
Like, Taylor Swift has all of these phrases trademarked. And
then it looks like she's also done this for books as well. So Akatar, she's taken the various covers and used them for an Aquatar inspired Pantone swatch, A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, etc. So who is really being protected here, I suppose, is what some people were asking by pointing this out. And I would have to agree. Someone says you can't have it both ways is the thing. Literally, like, no, you cannot. Also, I think that this comment right here is really funny. This is crazy. Between this and Patagonia, I've learned a ton about trademarks. I don't know why we're in a very copyright/trademark era currently, but it does seem to keep coming up. Hopefully that happens until we realize that the whole system probably could use a bit of a look-see, a bit of a tweak for the modern era. Someone says swiper, no swipey. All right, so we've seen the whack merch. We've seen other times where it almost seems like she doesn't care too much about phrases that other people actually do own. I think I'm going to go ahead and move towards the apology video. An update on the Hot Girls Read trademark. Actually, she posted this in 2 places, both Instagram and TikTok, or maybe more. I think I'm going to pull the TikTok one because it's a little easier. As much as I hate using TikTok on a computer, it's a little bit easier than Instagram. That's somehow even worse. Okay, hold on. Someone says my cat came to sit next to me. I think he likes your voice. Cats like me. Dogs don't dislike me, but I'm never the first person a dog will run up to, and it makes me really sad. I could be on the elevator with 5 people, and the dog is usually going to make a beeline for someone else, even if that person is standing next to me. But cats and I have an understanding. We have an agreement, because I learned a long time ago that just leave them alone, and then eventually they'll love you. Someone says she couldn't use the ukulele for the apology video because I copyrighted using it. Colleen Ballinger has the copyright for that one. 300. Okay, great. Let's go back over here.
Hi, I want to talk about my trademark. First and foremost, the trademark is being surrendered. It is in the process of being filed right now to be abandoned. I want to say that it does take time for that to go through, so it's not going to show up automatically, but the paperwork has already been filed.
Okay, good opening. That's an action, which is probably more important than any of the words we're going to get. So I appreciate that. All you Hot Girls Read merch sellers are safe from the clutches of Allie Rose Co.
But more importantly, I want to say I'm so sorry to every small business that I harmed in doing this. The decision was made more as like a business strategy decision than a human being decision.
Somebody framing something as for the girls, but then it actually being a cynical business decision? No.
And I take full accountability for that. That was entirely wrong on my end. I hear you, and I take that on the chin 100%. I want to clear up within the last week, I've seen a lot of screenshots and messages from people saying that I sent them a cease and desist, or I sent them a message on Etsy to remove any Hot Girls Read items. I want to say none of those came from me, because that was not my intent. I have not sent any of that since all this started.
I do believe that that is true. I didn't see personally any verified instances of her trying to get people's stuff taken down. It's still just obviously disturbing that she would have had the right to do so. So yeah, no, but yeah, the fact that other people were doing this, like, are y'all that bored? That's crazy, man.
As for the Hot Girls Read apparel that I have on the shelves, it is currently up on my site with all profits being donated to 2 different charities, Room to Read and Read and Feed, which I also have linked in my bio. And I just want to say once again, I'm so sorry. This is my way of trying to right my wrongs that I do understand should not have been wrongs in the first place. And at the end of the day, I care most about community over anything when it comes to my business. Hi.
Now, she really thought she was going to get away with caring about the community. A community that you joined literally a couple years ago and immediately tried to profit off of while blocking all other people from having the same opportunities. I'm going to have to call foul on that one. But I will say, you know what though? As far as internet apologies go, someone says that's what you have to do to keep the trademark though. Well, she shouldn't be keeping the trademark. As far as internet apologies go, this one, I think I'm going to say it. It wasn't terrible. I actually don't think it was. Now, there's a strong argument that she wasn't sorry, and that I can't speak to because I'm not her. But I will say, in terms of what actions I would like to see, immediately telling how you've changed your behavior, ceasing to profit from this in the short term, and reversing the decision that would have been affecting other people, and doing so all within less than like a minute and a half without making too many excuses, I think was mostly fine. Personally, that's my opinion. I cared about community is utterly ridiculous, and I don't know why she felt the need to add that. Anyways, the comments on TikTok obviously are not happy. Why would you trademark something you didn't come up with in the first place? Is currently the top comment, at least on my end. And I agree. I do feel like this video doesn't actually acknowledge what caused this behavior, but to do so would just be to say, well, I was being greedy. And so you're never going to get that answer, TikTok user. Sorry. She's surrendering the trademark because someone filed a petition to challenge it. Not because she was being accountable. It would have cost her money to defend it for your information. And you may be thinking to yourself like, wait, hold on a second. What do we mean by that? And yeah, if you go back to that, Emma wrote what? Substack post. I'd be lost without it. You can see right here at the bottom of the page. Oh crap, was it not at the bottom of the page? Hold on, wait. Wait, I swear I had it. Okay, give me a second. Wait. It's on a different page. Okay, someone posted it on Threads. Shout out Threads. Oh my god. Give me a second, chat. I thought that this was at the end of one of my I thought that this was at the end of one of my outlines that I had here, so I didn't save the link to this thing specifically. Someone says she turned around, flipped it, and reversed it. Literally. Let's see. I know it was in... Here we go. Okay, great. Found it. Found, yeah. GoFundMe. So a very small GoFundMe where the donations were paused once it seems like this was not necessary anymore, was trying to raise a bit of money, stand with small book creators against trademark abuse. And I actually think this is fair. Ali Rose Co. has trademarked the common phrase hot girls read, which will screw over smaller businesses and creators for no good reason. Ali Rose Co. did not invent this phrase, did not trademark the business name. So here we are. Let's support small businesses. I put in every item she listed for the trademark into different categories. The trademark costs $350 each, which brings us to $700 to trademark, etc. It says right here, a trademark lawyer reached out and let us know that if any bookish businesses had proof of selling or using this phrase prior to 2021, we could submit a petition for cancellation per class. Each class is $600, meaning $1,200 total for filing a cancellation petition for the trademark use of Hot Girls Read. I want to try to get all of the evidence of the slogan being used by other businesses prior to 2021 to get this canceled. So this doesn't seem to be a scam. To me, I will say that does put the apology video in a different context. Maybe it was out of the goodness of her heart or a sudden change of heart, or maybe you realize that when everybody is arming themselves to prevent you from doing this, this just might not actually be worth fighting. Someone said Threads is how I first heard about all of this. Shout out Threads. You know, that is one of the few social media platforms I don't know anything about. Is Threads good? Does anybody here use Threads and can tell me if this website is worth using? I think maybe I have an account on there. Maybe. But I've never posted anything on there because I don't know. Okay. I guess I have a following on Threads. I'm verified. There's a few people here, 24,000, but I've never threaded anything. I could post on Threads right now. I don't even know what the point of this website is. Why does it say community or topic? Whoa. Okay. What? Do I have to add a community or topic? I don't understand. Someone said Threads is a hellhole, but then someone says it's not as toxic as Twitter. Threads is deads. Threads is the millennials' playground. I love it there. Threads is owned by Meta. Well, that is kind of terrible. Yeah, that's not fun, right? Joining and using a Meta property. Someone said who is using Threads? I don't know. People, clearly. That's so funny. But yeah, I don't know what this website is, and at this point, I'm too afraid to ask. Threads is more engagement farming than anything. Okay, well, I'm good. I'm sure, by the way, if you're using Threads and you're like, no, it's actually a lovely place, that's your fault. If you have a good experience on social media, that is because you yourself are curating a good experience for yourself, which is what every person should do. But taken as a whole, I think most of these or all of these places are just toxic as hell. Clearly. Someone says, I like the furrysomeness of Blue Sky. Blue Sky seems fun as well. It filters things by topics to make it easier to find communities. So is that like it's like a hashtag essentially? Basically, is my understanding of how you said that. Anyways, I don't know anything at all, ever. All right, moving forward back to some of these comments. Boop, 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 boop. So I do personally think that this whole challenge thing does throw a monkey wrench in the, shall I say, motive behind this apology, but hey, at least it worked. Translation, someone filed a challenge and I know I'd lose that fight, plus I can't afford to fight it. I'm upset I got caught and then someone trademarked my own business name when I didn't even think to do that. Please don't cancel me because I've lost my income and I'm panicking, etc. Yeah, someone just said, I still can't believe you thought this was a good idea. And I think that's probably the one I agree with the most. I think on Instagram is where I was seeing the most people say that they think that people have been too hard on her. Let's see if I can find some of those comments. I actually really like this top one right here, which says, the fact that nobody in your life said, hey, this is probably a bad idea, is probably something to reflect on, which, you know what? That is kind of a good point. I can think of a lot of times where I've had really dumb ideas that would have made everyone hate me. And then I say that to anyone else in my life, and they're like, let's reevaluate what you think the outcome is going to be versus what it's likely going to be. And then I worked through that exercise with them, and I realized I was being an idiot. Okay, this is interesting. People need to stop demanding apologies from people only to refuse to accept them. You don't want remorse or reparations. You want humiliation, and that's just as gross. I find this to be an interesting take, that if you, as the internet always does, are demanding, hey, you can't move forward with your account, we're just going to keep bringing this thing up until you apologize for it, and then people feel that apology is not good enough, then do you, the demander, get to deem the apology not good enough? I would say yes, you absolutely do. There have been so many times when I've been like, this person needs to apologize, and then they do, and I'm just like, sorry, that's not good enough. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not because I want them to be humiliated. It's literally just because the apology was mid. And in this case, the apology I feel like was fine, but still seems to totally be motivated not by a sudden understanding of like, oh, actually, I should support the people in this community that I literally just joined. So I'm sorry, I disagree. I think it's completely okay to not accept this apology. This account says it's giving "I'm sorry you feel that way" vibes. Someone says it's not just as gross. I mean, you see this rhetoric a lot though, that like I see this a lot with well, hold on, I don't want to like suddenly make it political. But when somebody does something that is bad, and then you have a bunch of people who are upset at this bad thing that's happened, you will a lot of times get these enlightened kind of centrist people who are just like, well, I easily recognize that everyone is in the wrong here because this person may have done something that was injurious to multiple other people, but now those people are mad, and being mad is also a bad thing. So I win by refusing to think critically about this from either perspective. And that is always a hilarious argument because I'm just like, dog, you could have just not commented this and you would have made an equally valuable contribution to the space. But anyways, someone said make it political, King. Nah. We're going to be here for too long, even though I love making it political. Someone says I'm too autistic to know what a good apology looks like. In this specific case, I would just say, like, even if you're not reading the language or body language or expressions or whatever, I was just looking at the actions of canceling the trademark and not moving forward with trying to take people's stuff down. I'd say that was what makes it an okay apology more than any sort of like visible remorse. Someone says it's clear she wasn't being malicious, and I'll give her that. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't feel as though she was being malicious yet. I think arming yourself with the power to become malicious is by taking advantage of a trademark system that shouldn't have allowed you to do that isn't a good thing. But thus far, I think it was stopped before it got really, really, really bad. Someone says a good apology should always end with a high five. Bring back preschool for real. If this was a business strategy, then I suggest a different day job, as you don't know your market or your potential client, what they desire. As someone who's read consistently every year since I was a child, I would never support a small business whose hustle is taking the rug out from other people's feet who have been in the game way longer than you. You pulling money into a trademark as a business strategy because you're a wealthy white woman who wanted to take away everyday words from other communities. I'm gonna keep reading. And people who also sell merch with those words just because you had the money to tell them that's my sentence. This is just another tone deaf white privilege move that Ali Rose Code did. I wonder if it wasn't her that sent out those messages, because then who did? They're saying it seems like it was her account that sent them. You did post on your story asking small businesses to take down their products that you claim are your likelihood. Okay, Patagonia, relax. Oh, see, here's the thing. I love this comment. I love this comment for so many reasons. People will get really, really mad at you for daring to bring race into things when it doesn't seem immediately obvious or applicable. But I am just going to briefly say that's a very valid lens with which to view this, for sure. So I appreciate that comment personally. Someone says, someone said, now I'm thinking about hot girl summer. No, because like I start thinking about this from the perspective of trying to take away words that people are using, and my mind kind of goes back to, well, who do I even really associate this hot girl energy with in the first place? And I'm like, I could start viewing this through let's talk about Megan Thee Stallion and the idea of being a hot girl and this, that, but it's okay. Hot girls read has existed for a while, and actually it does predate Megan somewhat, but you can't argue from the stance of who popularized it. That's why I love the internet. There's literally layers to this. I'm just operating on an outer layer because it makes this conversation a little easier to have without people easily being able to pick apart the things that I'm saying. Personally. Someone says the publishing industry itself is also known to be pretty racist. Oh, they're bad. Bro, dog, they are bad. Listen, I have a lot of reading is a hobby for me too, and racism is alive and well in a lot of my hobbies. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Please don't tell anybody I did this. Please don't tell anybody I did this. I watched a Jubilee video on purpose. I actually I'm trying to downplay my behavior. I've been watching Jubilee videos and I'm trying to stop. You may wonder, like, what does this have to do with what he was about to say about hobbies? I hate Jubilee. They are literally one of the worst. They're one of the worst channels. I don't like their content. I don't like the things that they do. This whole liberals versus conservatives thing that they do, which is literally just like muddying the waters so much. They lean so much into this. But here's the problem. I'm just making an excuse for my bad behavior. For some reason, I keep getting recommended Jubilee videos that are about things that I actually like. And I've been watching those. So maybe I'm not reading like Jubilee giving some conservative influencer the chance to talk over 20 leftists. But, for example, the other day, I got the video recommended, 5 anime fans versus 1 secret hater. Odd ones out. And I'm like, you know what? I do like anime. I'm going to watch this video. But what I found to be really interesting was in the middle of this video, one of the people here brings up misogyny. Let's see if I can find that. Yeah, okay. And it's very, very frustrating and odd. Here, let me show you what I mean. Not from her bringing it up. I agreed with what she was saying. But I want you to see in real time how people act whenever you say that spaces have issues with racism or misogyny or whatever. Look at how people react to this.
I do talk to people who want it.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna turn it up a little so you can actually hear. Volume master 300. Nah, we'll probably do like 250. Okay, close enough.
I talk to people who watch the same anime as I do.
That's fair, that's fair. I feel like a lot of dudes are also like misogynistic towards women who like, I'm like, oh yeah, I watch anime. And then obviously they're always like, oh, you don't watch it. Like you're like, oh, I bet you only like watch like Sailor Moon or like whatever.
Is that a thing?
Huh?
That's the thing, like
Yeah.
guys thinking girls shouldn't watch anime?
Yeah, or like they think that
They were pissing me off so bad. This was pissing me off so bad. Her saying like, oh, I also just, the vibe of bigotry, and immediately getting hit twice from 2 different dudes. Like, does that actually happen?
it's also like part of like the whole elitist thing, where it's like they just automatically think they're better. I don't know. Maybe it's not a misogyny. Maybe I'm reading into
When
it
did
wrong.
misogyny come into anime?
I don't know, because I think it's like
It actually empowers
just always
women.
been-
A lot.
I know on some level they were joking, kind of, but also just, I really hated seeing it turn into comedic editing. And nobody backing her up or seriously engaging with what she was saying. It just immediately turns into a joke. So to kind of come back to racism in the publishing industry, I feel this way when I think about books. I feel like her. I feel like I'm standing around in a Neon Genesis. Wait, I can't find her. Oh my God. Okay, I feel like I'm literally just standing here in a Neon Genesis Evangelion cosplay as everyone around me is making silly faces and goofy music is playing in the background. And I'm trying to say, like, guys, I feel like this might be racist if we really think about it. It's so easy for people to shut things down like this in real time. And I saw it happen here and I was like, I'm saving this clip in my mental. I'm going to bring this up the next time I'm trying to explain. But yeah, all this to say, like, you could ignore racism in the publishing industry and how it also tends to result in people not getting credit for things, but you could also not, and it's more fun to just have these conversations. Someone says shoujo anime and manga has been held back and not adapted because of misogyny. It's a huge problem. Yeah, I mean, anime, I would argue almost all spaces have a problem with misogyny in some form or another, but anime specifically is just like, yeek. Someone says, I'm standing 10 toes down just because you don't think deeply about things doesn't mean I will. Exactly. It's always that deep is how I feel. Because it doesn't have to be, but it can be. Why not? All right, moving back to, I guess, the IG of it all. Trademarking something while selling unlicensed trademarking something while selling unlicensed merch is wild. The biggest red flag was the unlicensed merch, etc. So as you can see, I would say right now, it's in the air. Some people maybe think people were being a little bit too far. Other people are not planning on accepting this apology because there's just literally too much hypocrisy going on. And also the timing of this seems a little bit too motivated. I like this one right here. Disappointed but not surprised by the lack of accountability and the lack of an actual apology. Glad you're surrendering the trademark though, since it wasn't your phrase to trademark, one step at a time, I guess. I think this is a decent apology within the context of I was making moves that were going to harm other people's businesses and I've stopped. I think it's a bad apology in the general realm of like, why were you doing this in the first place? So that's my take on that specifically. Someone said men also just love to humble women. Well, true though. It's like that say you like something and it's like, oh really? Name 5, insert the thing. There's always literally those like tests that I see and I could be guilty, I guess. I probably am. The fact that I'm not immediately thinking of it, I should examine my own behavior. But yeah, like, why do you always have to prove, essentially, I'm going back to the anime thing, why do you always have to prove that like women are not engaging with things on a level as deeply as the men are? It's so interesting. And by interesting, I mean terrible and annoying. Someone says when men are like, really? I don't see women treated differently. They're trying to minimize and make the women look dumb and like they're being dramatic, peak misogyny. That's literally what I feel like, or not, I feel like that's literally what was happening in that clip. Yeah, I agree. Bro, I saw that and I was like, I got to play this on stream. I want some opinions. I can't be the only one who saw this, even though we shouldn't be watching Jubilee videos. Someone says, I like F1 and the stupid comments I get are insane. Well, I bet that's a very like, it's heavily associated with men and like, yeah, guys must be the only ones who care about this. Rough, buddy. Gatekeeping, yeah. So as you see, there's levels to gatekeeping. Faux shiz. Oh yeah, what I want to say is, what is funny about this is it has actually breached containment. Now, this is something I don't usually see happen when it comes to book talk drama. Usually it remains very localized, but somehow people got wind of this outside of it. So you have this Forbes article. What is happening? Hot girls read trademark sparks intense book talk controversy, which I think is hilarious. Also, can I just say, this seems like a great time to talk about this in general. This is maybe my second time making a dedicated book talk video. I think the first time was when I talked about Milo Winter and his issue, and the things that he tried to turn around and how book talk was reacting to this. But book talk controversies are very rare. I got to think about how I'm wording this. I think when many people hear book talk controversy, they immediately start assuming that the people within that community are the problem. But I think a lot of times when things are happening on book talk, it's just bad actors getting called out by people who don't want to see that in their space. Now, granted, obviously people in the name of any fandom, space, group, hobby, etc. can be collectively terrible, and certainly there are moments where I've seen people who I associate with book talk doing things that are bad or annoying, but I actually feel like most book talk drama isn't book talk being bad. I realize that the more I look into this, because this was initially posited to me as like book talk drama, and I'm like, uh-oh, is everyone on there being weird? But like, the people on there aren't really weird. I feel like they can be seen as a very normal community compared to certain other spaces. Maybe that's a bad take, and maybe I'm missing all of the absolute worst, all of the worst spaces. I'm just somehow not seeing them. But yeah, I feel like they can be as good as any fan space or as bad as any, but they're not uniquely terrible like their reputation is. It's so odd. Someone says they can be insane and gross, but so much of it is like outliers that people only realize exist when something happens. Yeah, that's how I feel, low key. Like, you have awful, terrible people who proudly use hashtag book talk and are part of your community, whether you like it or not. But that doesn't mean the average person here is operating in a space that is largely toxic. I don't think you have to ignore a bunch of toxicity to be a bookish community member and post videos about the things that you want and consume content from these creators. Like, it doesn't really strike me as inherently toxic. Someone says when book talk had that hockey controversy, that was very on them. Okay, I do remember that, and that was pretty bad. But then it's like, who was doing that exactly? Was that everyone? And it's never everyone, obviously, but I don't know. Someone says what I've seen from book talk is mostly just that they like to hold people accountable. They try hard to hold up the reputation of the niche. That's my personal experience that I've seen mostly just from the outside. Again, it's funny being a book fan but not on book talk, because I don't really use book talk, so things happen there and I have no idea about them. But I still feel like somebody who follows like publishing and books and novels, and it's so funny. Someone says most book talk drama I come across is just people being weird, not the community being weird. Yeah, most. Someone says I think the prejudice also comes from policing women's hobbies and sexuality. Oh, is this a part where I'm supposed to be like, does that happen? I'm gonna act like those guys in the videos. People don't police women's hobbies. No, yeah, definitely. Like, maybe we should ask why this group of people is seen as absurdly irrational and reactive to everything when that's not supported by my examinations. I don't know, man. It's mess, dog. It's mess. Someone says the fact that book talk is mostly women being weird and cringe is the biggest crime they commit. Literally just, yeah, you're correct. You're right. As a book fan, I'm just not into book talk. My online spaces tend to be commentary and fashion. Fair. Ooh, fashion. That's fun. I like that. Someone says, is that a thing? Yeah, no. Never let anybody ask you if that's a thing. Just be like, why haven't you noticed it? Open your eyes next time you're outside. Huh? Pay attention next time you're interacting with people. That's on you. Someone says, I thought book talk was just Rex and discussion. I can't internet. It is. That's the other thing I will say. Unlike most communities where usually I would warn you away from joining them because there's just too many weirdos out here, you should join book talk. Most people there are nice. I think a lot of my very close friends are like in this space and they love talking about these things because it brings up interesting discussions. So don't let book talk controversy scare you away from joining the community. They're mostly welcoming and fine. Largely. Someone says, I prefer long form content and book reviews versus book talk. That's fair. That's understandable. And that's pretty much me too. Anyways, so Forbes kind of gives a rundown of this. It is hilarious seeing the phrase, please remove those listings from your site as soon as possible. Heart emoji with love. But yeah, I think this is hilarious. They also bring up the Patagonia controversy that happened recently. I think this also got covered in People magazine. a content creator filed to trademark Hot Girls Read. Then the booktok community erupted online. Again, same story, tale as old as time. But yeah, ultimately, that was a uniquely terrible idea. And it happened, or it paid off just about as poorly as one would imagine it did. The end. All right, before I wrap this story and we move on to the next, does anybody have any key things that they want to add for this or to this? Someone says at least they read. It can't be that bad, right? Reading chat. Someone said pause. Avid booktalker, please say added the dark romance booktalk scene. I do like dark romance, but there's so much abuse apologists. Oh, that doesn't sound nice. Like people who refuse to acknowledge that outside the book it's bad. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Wait. I like that idea. I like that idea. Or I don't like that idea. But like basically you're saying you consume a lot of content or books involving fiction and fantasy of things that if they happened in real life would obviously be bad, and you're tired of seeing people excuse them even in real life. That makes sense. And I do think there's a really big misconception of like what it is okay or not okay to put in fiction. I feel like we have collectively missed the point. It's okay to put anything in fiction. I don't think really that there's like very many types of romance, i.e. not actual real things that will happen in real life that you can like write about, etc. I do think when it starts crossing over into people trying to hype this up in real life, yeah, you should be concerned. But yeah, ultimately there's nothing wrong with the genre itself. I think about that a lot too, because I don't want to say I read a lot of books, but like books will commonly have things in them that are pretty awful if they happen in real life, and they do happen in real life. And then people who don't read books will like hyperfixate on, or not hyperfixate, they'll just fixate on like individual parts and be like, oh my god, is that the book where this thing happens? And I'm sitting here on the sidelines and I'm like, oh, that's crazy, because I read books where much worse things than that happened. I'm like keeping my mouth shut of like, yeah, oh wow, that's crazy, I can't believe that's in there. And I have a closet full of books where much worse things were taking place. It's so funny. Somebody said correct, like people enjoy fiction about war, murder, etc., and we trust them not to do that or glorify that in real life. Yeah, no, like there's nothing wrong with a fictionalized version of this. Now, if this is in any way informing your IRL actions, brother, you need to touch grass, please. Reading chat. Someone says so much dark romance is bad comes down to puritanical ideas of what fantasy looks like for a variety of people that isn't a reflection of their morals outside the bedroom. Yeah, no, like it's books. Someone said enthusiastic consent is needed in real life. Yes, that's the only way to do it. Let's go. Reading chat. Someone says I think it's the romanticizing and normalizing it that's bad. I would agree that yes, normal. Well, okay. Wow, that's a really good point. So yes. Let me ask you this. Does a book, and this is I'm not trying to trap you or argue with you, I'm literally just saying, does a book that contains themes that if they existed in real life would be bad inherently romanticize or normalize them? I guess. Now, I know I'm talking about a genre that literally has romance in the title. But does this necessarily romanticize it in real life? I guess is the real question, which is tricky, right? But I feel like the answer to me is like, well, no, because these are still literally just books. Again, as long as you are not taking this lens and filtering it to real life, which I don't feel that most people are doing, from what I've seen. I see a lot of people saying no. Yeah, like that's what I feel like. No, it's not inherently romanticizing it. You can do that, and there can totally be fiction that does that, but it's kind of hard to do, actually. Reading. Someone says, is it normalized if it's within an impossible being, or is it a mechanism for sublimation? Someone says, I think it's more the community romanticizing it. Yes, obviously. I agree heavily on that. Like, at the end of the day, though, if you're reading these books and then you somehow have the opinion of like finding real examples of the thing that just happened and trying to say that this is actually romantic, you done lost the plot. But that's not necessarily a function of just reading the books neutrally. Reading. Someone says Onision's books romanticize some insane things. Oh, I bet they did. I bet they did. See, earlier when I was saying it's kind of hard to do that, I would trust Onision to romanticize the worst things ever. Man, that is a name I haven't thought of in a long time, by the way. It's wild, dude. Someone says it depends on how it's portrayed, and then right under there, it says it depends on what how the reader interprets it. Someone says, I've read about screwing werewolves, but IRL is gross. I mean, at the end of the day, I almost would not believe anybody who says they haven't had the experience of seeing something in fiction and going like this. Pulling a gif. Me searching Kombucha Girl when I know her name, Brittany Broski. If you say you've never read a book that or consumed something that has something in it where you immediately are like, oh, I don't want that in real life. But in the book, I didn't really hate it. But no. I don't believe you. That happens to me all the time. I be consuming fiction and I'm like, oh, this is terrible. No, this is bad. Yeah, this is bad. So I'm sorry. Let's just all be honest. Let's be honest. Let's just be more honest with each other. And I think the world will move to a healthier space. That's how I feel. Someone said, wait a minute. I'd be sitting there like, okay, hold on. No. It's bad. It's bad. Someone said Brittany Broski becoming a popular influencer from this one video still surprises me to this day. Brittany has done a great job leveraging this into longevity. I think a lot of influencers are very bad at that. You will have one thing pop off and then everyone forgets you and you're just forever associated with that. But her turning into an interviewer or a podcaster, etc. I think there's a lot to learn there from a business perspective. So shout out Brittany. Someone says that's just normal though. It's normal, but people act like they don't do it for some reason. I don't know why. Why lie? Anyway, anything else before I... Someone says, if any of my fictional crushes were real, I would get a restraining order on them. Yeah, nobody actually wants this energy in their real life. Hopefully. Reading chat. Someone says, anyone who stands Ayn Rand is a huge red flag. What did she write? Atlas Shrugged? I think she wrote that, right? That's a whole other topic. Anything else? I'm drinking some water. Say goodbye. I think we good. Don't leave because we're still going to stream. And actually, I didn't even tell you what the second thing I wanted to do was. Oh, yes, I did. I already said I was going to do Reddit plus the relationship advice. Someone said me watching The Shape of Water. Let's go. Kombucha Girl's me watching garbage TV. Literally me watching Love Island now. I'm just watching it like, oh, this is terrible. Wait, it's kind of entertaining. Oh, the drama. And then I'm like, no, this is bad. It's so funny. All right, say bye. Anyways, thus concludes the tale of Ali Rose Coe and Hot Girls Read. That's all I've got, folks. Hopefully you never have to think about the skin. I know I will certainly try not to, but yeah, I recorded this video live right here on YouTube where I actually stream quite frequently. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern time. Unless, of course, I don't, in which case I'm probably just like, I don't know, sleeping. But yeah, hopefully I catch you in the next stream or the next video. And if not, it doesn't matter at all. Okay, bye. Okay, done. All right, let's go. Let's chill. We offline. I'm not recording no more. We not on TV no more. Let me name this file. That way I don't confuse myself later, which is my favorite hobby, confusing myself later. Hot Girls Read. Okay, great. Excuse me. I'm going to make sure that that's in the right place. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Okay, great. We're so good, chat. We're so good. Someone says, make sure no one tries to copyright you, D'Angelo. Yeah. I hope not. But also, it's just my name. So I think even if someone was to do that, they can't necessarily prevent me from using my own name. Someone says, talk about the fake passport government site. Okay, wait, hold on. People are bringing up a few things. I don't know what the fake passport government site is. Somebody said DPR Ian was quitting music, but I don't know if they were like lying. not that I think you're lying. It's just sometimes, not very often, people will say things and I don't know if they're like joking or if I'm misreading their comments. It seems like he's doing the opposite of quitting music. Or something. It says right here, Australian Korean artist DPR Ian returns after 19 months with funky new single The Show. So I just wanted to look that up to see what they're referring to, or maybe I've missed something. I actually think I clicked into this, or maybe I didn't. I don't remember. I watched so many things. Somebody said he's quitting. I don't think he's quitting. I said it out loud, which I shouldn't have before verifying. So I just want to throw that back out there. I think he's fine. I think he's good. Someone said he scrapped his new album. Oh, did he? That sucks. Wait, I don't know if I can find info on that. DPR Ian scraps album. Oh, okay. It says right here, people are saying on his fan pages, there's sirens in the background. He scrapped the album a month ago and his team, wow. He feels like he needs to be by himself. Now, Mexico might be one of the last shows he ever does. Along with his schedule in Jakarta and Korea, the album may be released digitally afterwards. Okay. And so this seems to be things that he was talking about on Instagram Live. Okay. Well, that sucks. I've never scrapped an album. But I have scrapped long-term projects, so it doesn't make me feel nice. I'm sure that's not a nice feeling, but hopefully he gets that creative spark back. That's what I hope. Someone said he did say he's probably quitting. I think if there's one time where it's okay to invalidate someone's feelings, it's a musician saying that they're quitting. I think obviously you should like respect them and not be like, well, I demand that you continue making music for me, because no one owes you anything. But I will say I have almost never seen a musician who said they were quitting actually quit. I think people who make music literally have, like, I don't know how to describe it. There's something in them. It's compelling them to do this. They will literally say they're quitting and then start a new band and launch a second music career before they will actually put the microphone down. So I'm sorry to hear that he's struggling, obviously. And I'm not trying to minimize this. I'm just saying, if you're a fan, don't be too scared, because I swear to God, musicians be saying this all the time. They be saying this all the time, literally. Someone says, are the neighbors okay? I hope so. I have a lot of neighbors because I live in an apartment complex in like an area that has a lot of different places around it. So hopefully everyone is well. Someone says, I thought I was the only one thinking that. Yeah, no, musicians, they stay quitting and then coming back with their new next last work ever. It reminds me, I'm not saying that's what he's doing. I'm not trying to make fun of him. DPR Ian stands, don't come for me. I'm literally trying to give you hope. I feel like it reminds me of Miyazaki. Hayao Miyazaki, who is always talking about his quote unquote last movie. Look, you can see right here on Reddit, how many films has Miyazaki called his final movie? I know Miyazaki has called multiple films his final work, like How Do You Live, The Wind Rises. Somebody said, part of me thinks this is just how Miyazaki functions, working so that each Studio Ghibli film is a swan song, and then retiring, and then discovering stories he still wants to tell. And as he knows all too well how to do it, he might as well call the team back together for one more swan song. Literally, that's how I feel about people quitting. So yeah, don't despair. DPR Ian fans, he may be back. It's pretty common. Someone says Miyazaki will retire when he's dead. Yeah, I won't even believe it then. He will probably find some sort of realm-to-realm communication. And it's like, how did he release? He's not even with us anymore. Someone says, why are y'all mentioning Frank Ocean? What about Breakins? Breakins has not quit music. I know Breakins hasn't dropped anything in a few years, which is bad because Hypochondriac is amazing. But like, dog, I don't believe somebody whose music is largely about how much he just is compelled to make music would ever stop music. That's my opinion. I don't know Breakins. We're not friends. Somebody mentioned Frank Ocean. Okay, hold on though. I do feel I believe that Frank Ocean still makes music. I wouldn't believe that he's never making music. But do I actually believe that Frank is actually going to release music? No. I think low key that Frank Ocean, for some reason, just based off of his own actions, seems really averse to the idea of releasing music. So I do think you can reach a level of, I don't want to call it stubbornness, it's his decision. You can reach a level of, I haven't put out anything and I'm still not going to, where I may actually believe we may never hear music from this person again. I feel the same way about Rihanna, where Navy, don't come for me, but y'all know she's not putting out an album. Someone said Frank is working on an album, literally. I agree with you. I agree with you that Frank Ocean is literally working on an album. Do I believe that I'm going to hear this album with my own ears if I am not breaking into his studio and stealing it and listening to it before he releases it? No. And I feel the same. I'm so sorry. I say this as a fan of his work. I feel the same way about Rihanna over here. Dog, she ain't releasing jack diddly squat. She literally seems, what is she holding, like a bunch of lipsticks? She literally seems to get some sort of sick joy out of people thinking that she's going to drop an album. She ain't gonna do that. She is not going to do that. Rihanna's not dropping. So no, Rihanna's not dropping, Frank Ocean's not dropping. But other than that, I believe all musicians probably will come together, if not for reasons, you know, involving other third-party factors. No. Reading chat. Someone said R9 coming out, never. That joint is never happening. The most we can, like, maybe she'll drop it as a mixtape or something. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Someone said, I gave up on that hope before 2020. See, you've spent the last 6 years in peace. If not in all things, at least within this one thing. You're not looking towards a tomorrow that was never on the horizon. Waiting for a sun to rise. We're not even orbiting that sun. Someone says she's going to do 100 more side quests before she even thinks about it. Literally, though. Reading chat. Someone says, this is unrelated. Has anyone else here heard of the stuff that's happening to Adam McIntyre right now? I have not, but I hope it's nothing bad. And he's good. I mostly remember Adam McIntyre from that Colleen Ballinger thing, which was gross. And I'm very glad he was able to move past that. Someone says the pick you pulled was perfect for it. Exactly. Her with the things she's truly passionate about. Her makeup and making money, $1 billion, being a billionaire through non-music memes. For real. Reading chat. Someone says, I'm so behind on things, it doesn't even matter if it happens. Yeah, that being said too, like, I hope none of this is sounding like I think people should do things that they don't want to do. If no one wants to put out music, don't drop it. We're not owed anything. But I still think it's funny having these same conversations again and again for like 10 years. I'm not mad at the people who want more music. I do too. I really do. Someone said, D'Angelo, please give us your thoughts on BTS's new album. I haven't heard the whole thing. I heard do they have a song called Swim, or did I just make that up? Wait, hold on. I swear to God they have a song called Swim. Okay, I heard Swim off the new album. What all is on this album? Because I have heard some of these tracks. Let's see. Or maybe I don't think I listened to the whole thing. Yeah, I think I listened to Hooligan. And I listened to Body to Body. That one was a banger. But yeah, I could give you a more detailed reaction if I actually were to listen to it. I mean, the thing about BTS's music, I've made BTS reaction videos in the past a very long time ago. And I think I remember saying that this was literally good music. They don't make bad music. That's not the problem at all. I think a lot of times it's like maybe they're operating in styles that I personally don't enjoy. But they're a pretty great group in terms of their output, I feel. That's just my opinion. Thoughts about Kim Petras' album? I think it was her best debut album yet, and that Margot XS and Frost Children did a great job on the production, and it was a joy to listen to. And Brutalist, the track on there, made me really sad. Shout that out. Someone said look up the Adam stuff right now in real time. I will not do that, but I will look it up later. Reading chat. Someone said not their strongest work though. Maybe not. I don't know. I haven't listened to the track. Also, I wouldn't be able to point out BTS's strongest work because they have a lot of music, and I have not listened to all of their music by any means. Not at all, dog. Reading chat. Someone says the people from Quiet on Set are making a documentary on Colleen. Oh, okay. And some people, including Colleen's ex, wanted Adam to be part of it. He said no, and people were being very insistent. Okay, that's gross. I think if this is what's happened, I'll take your word for it here and look into it later. But like this idea that people who have been through things like owe you their commentary. Oh, I experienced being taken advantage of, and now we demand that you give us your story and cooperate. Like, no one owes you anything, I guess, in this case. So that sucks. That's gross. Someone said, how do we feel about Cat's Eye's downfall? Sorry, I'm not laughing. I just... Are they having a downfall, or did they lose one member and are also putting out some songs that people don't like? I'm not making fun of or minimizing anything. I'm just saying I have tried to multiple times to make a Cat's Eye video because I see how popular they are. They are literally so popular. And I just can't put my finger on what's actually happening there. I think my biggest fear... Here, I'll tell you what my biggest fear is about Cat's Eye. I do my research and I literally try to make a good stream. We talk about Cat's Eye for 90 minutes. I cut down the video, put up 25 videos, put up a 25-minute video about Cat's Eye. And then everybody in the comment section is like, well, D'Angelo, you totally missed the point because, and then they bring up some sort of context that frankly, I would have had no way of knowing because I'm not actually in the fan base itself. So yeah, I don't really, I don't know what's going on there. I did try, and I'm sorry if you wanted a Cat's Eye video. Lord. Someone said research into their companies. I did. I see there's a lot of problems when it comes to like how the group was formed, obviously, but most of them seem to not have too much to do with the members themselves. And then there's a lot of weird stuff going on over one member of this group clearly having left, obviously, but then it not being officially announced, and like the label still wants to profit off of the will they won't they. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on there, obviously. But yeah, there's a lot going on is how I would summarize the Cat's Eye thing. I hope they're happy. Is that a silly thing to want? When it makes me sound like Unk or something, but honestly, when I do think about Cat's Eye, I just mostly hope that they're happy or that someday they'll be happy, because it's just a bunch of really young people going through a lot. I mean, they have agency, and these are adults, I think. Most of them are, even though at one point I think one of the members was a minor. But yeah, no, like, I hope they're happy. Someone said, I just feel so old. And I'm also trying not to be like, I'm 27, I'm out of their families. There's people my age who listen to them, I'm sure. So I'm not even strictly approaching it from an age perspective, but just me, like, it's hard for me to understand the intensity of the discourse around this, despite my repeated efforts. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. Reading chat. Someone said, I want the girls to succeed, I just hate the company. Yeah, no, I don't think you should hate any of the members of Cat's Eye. That's definitely something I've gleaned from my research. I have definitely seen, is this is the member who left. I have seen a lot of hate thrown her way, and I don't like it. I don't agree with it. The Manon, is that how you say her name? I definitely don't want to mispronounce anyone's name. The Manon hate is like garbage to me. There. That's my one Cat's Eye opinion you're going to get from me. I'm not going to give you any other contributions to the discourse, but I just feel like if your actual opinion is like, oh, wait, is this actually her? Or am I highlighting the wrong? Okay, this is Manon. Okay, good. Thank God. I was about to look like a doofus. Yeah, if your Cat's Eye opinion is I hate this girl for any reason, I'm gonna have to strongly disagree with you. That's all I've got. Goodbye. Goodbye. Reading chat. Someone said officially she's still in Cat's Eye. Yeah, technically. But yeah, I feel like if you don't know what Cat's Eye is, none of this made any sense. So I'll just probably cap it there and say, hopefully everybody's good. All right, moving on. Someone said the in is silent. Oh, so it's like Mano. That makes sense, or could make sense. Also, how did we fall into Cat's Eye discourse? I guess we were just talking about like music in general, and then Cat's Eye came up. The in at the end isn't pronounced. Okay, thank you. Yeah, before I do any of my streams, I usually try to do one big final like pronunciation check. Sometimes I forget, and you do see me having to Google things on stream. But I swear I would have gotten her name right. I promise. I really would have. Someone said backrooms thoughts unless you covered it. I covered it and I enjoyed it. I said a few other things, but that was the core of my argument. Someone says it's close enough if you don't know French. It's hard to explain the final sound. As someone who only speaks English, I do struggle with sounds that are not commonly made in English, but I do my best to pronounce them correctly. Not saying, by the way, like, you know what I mean. There's a lot of different sounds. I know my as and my buzz and my cuz does, but like when you start getting into some of these, for me, less commonly used sounds, I just start sounding like I have a horrible accent, because I do. I have a very strong accent. I really do. Someone says, can you roll an R? I'm ashamed to say no. I'm ashamed to say that I grew up in San Antonio and lived there for 20 years of my life, and I can't roll an R. I can roll R's like as just a continuing motion, just a bunch of rolls, but the quick rolling of an R, I can't do that. Just like a singular rolled R, I struggle with really bad. It comes up a lot in Spanish, and I hear it in Japanese as well a lot, and I can't do that sound. It's pretty bad. I sound so stupid. And it makes me not want to try, which is bad, because how are you going to get better if you don't practice? But I just hate the way I sound when I try to say R's in the way that other people say them. It's bad, dude. So was it me either? I'm Colombian and I can't roll an R. Yeah, no, like, not saying everyone even can, even if it is common in your whatever language you're mainly speaking. But yeah, for me personally, it's not a common sound in my day-to-day speech at all. So I have so little practice with making that one. Someone says they have sounds in Japanese. No, but I feel like in Japanese, just most of the R's, they're not pronounced like I would pronounce them Americanly. Like is not how that happens. And I don't know how to pronounce them correctly. Like here, I'll give you an example. This word, wait, hold on. I'm just going to use Google Translate. Translate.google.com. All right. This word, which I don't even want to say, because my pronunciation is just going to be so garbage. Wait, I'm probably spelling this incorrectly. Japanese. Okay, yeah. So if you were to say thank you in Japanese,
Arigato.
wait, let's try this again.
Arigato.
It's that R right there. I would say, if I was reading this in English, arigato, but that's terrible. That's disgusting. That's not how the word is pronounced. And I hate mispronouncing things. It makes me feel stupid. The R sounds a lot different.
Arigato.
Because it's not an R in the way that I understand it. And I don't know how to make that sound. People make it so casually. And I'm just like, I can't even become a voice actor. I can't even read the dub because I'm like, I wouldn't even be able. It's bad, dog. It's bad. Oh no. It's is no. Someone said I'm Korean and I can't roll those damn R's. It gets me bad, honestly. I low key feel like if I did know how to just casually and naturally roll an R, I would be unstoppable. I would probably learn every language that involves rolling an R. I would learn all of them. It's the last thing that's stopping me. Someone said, say the word butter and pay attention to what your tongue does to make the muted T. That's the R. Okay, so like if I was to say, okay, so like butter, it's kind of like a sound. So if it's like arigato, I think the issue is though, I feel like it sounds like I'm saying a D. Like arigato might be closer than arigato, but neither of those is correct. And my issue is I feel like if I go around doing things like that, then no one's going to understand me. I don't know. It's so bad, dude. I know. I also don't know why I get so embarrassed over. I think I'm kind of insecure over only knowing one language, which is stupid. A lot of people only know one language, but for some reason I don't know, man. Someone said, "Dog, that's literally it." So do I not sound like a total idiot if I was like arigato? Does that sound awful? Am I gonna get jumped by random Japanese speakers for saying that? Are they gonna be like, "Oh, that was so cringe in American"? I don't know. Okay, well, people are saying that's fine. Okay, maybe that's fine, and I can reframe my thinking on how the R's work. Okay, I'll accept this one compliment that maybe I said it somewhat okay in this one context. Thank you for that, and that helps. That helps. Me trying to think of it as the way I usually think of an R was not helping. I was never sounding okay, but the thinking about terms that I commonly use that are closer to the sound I'm trying to make and substituting those does seem to help a lot. So that's nice. Someone said my husband is Slav. He's annoyed by the TH sound. Apparently not many languages have this sound. Oh, so like this or like the aftermath. Yeah. It's a pretty harsh sound, honestly. I do feel like we have a lot of like thints and shh and just and really odd sounds over here in English. But yeah, TH is an annoying sound for me. So if you also don't like it, I accept that. I really, really do. So I think you can kind of figure in it sounds better than saying a regular English R. I totally agree. The second thing I did sounded so much better to my ear than whatever the hell I thought I was doing in the first place. Someone said it's a relatively common speech impediment here. My brother took lessons when he was a kid and kept saying L instead of R too softly. He can probably improve with practice. Well, practice can help you with a lot of things, I do believe. Someone said Finnish people have such difficulty with TH sounds. Do they? Yeah, no, it's a tricky one. It doesn't even sound nice. Someone in chat is like, my name is Catherine, and you're saying TH is a bad sound. No, Catherine's a lovely name. I just think TH isolated by itself is just a very odd sound. Someone in chat is like, my name is Bethany, and you are saying TH is bad. I like, shout out all the Catherines, the Bethanies, the Matthews, those are all I've got. The Theodores. Yeah, all of your names are beautiful, I swear. Someone said look up people saying squirrel. Which people? Diphthongs are not super common in other languages. Interesting. That's interesting. I don't always think about the parts of English that are like not super common in other languages. But I will say this. I don't make fun of people for speaking with an accent. In general, one thing I really hate is just this English speaking idea that like it's okay to make fun of people for having accents or speaking with quote unquote improper grammar. First of all Americans speak with improper grammar. It's natural and proper to do so. And I think at the end of the day, if you know what somebody means and you are choosing to be annoying about the way that they said it, you're just being a jerk. Now, I know there are some people who would be happy to be corrected. Like, for example, if I said something stupid and you corrected me and you're like, oh, you probably meant this, I'm not going to be offended. I'm literally talking about people who will look down on you for speaking with like any sort of like accent or, you know, alternative, whatever. Like, people are so garbage about that, dog. Someone said it's pointless being a grammar police. It really is. Someone said especially in the South. Yeah, in the South, non-standard grammar is standard. Here in the American South, we have multiple various special ways of speaking. Not special, they're just regional ways of speaking that are technically correct, even if that's not what a grammar book would say you should or should not be doing. Someone said German people saying squirrel. I've never heard it. I happen to have one friend who is German. Perhaps I could ask them to say squirrel. I don't know. But my friend who is German is also a fluent English speaker. So it's like, where do we go from here? Someone says a lot of foreign peeps are delighted by Americans actually making the effort, even if they're not good at it. That makes sense. That makes sense. So it says my country has 12 official languages. Okay, that's wild. I don't know how many. Well, does America technically only have one official language? I guess, duh. But people speak so many languages here. I don't know why I'm Googling this as if I don't know the answer. Obviously, English is the only official language of the United States from, I guess, like a, I don't know, trivia perspective. But like, dog, Spanish is absolutely one of our official languages. We literally print things here in Spanish. There are a lot of times you'll see a sign and it'll say whatever it says in English, and they'll have a separate follow-up version in Spanish. It's wild to not think of this as an official language. Someone says America has no official language. Okay, that makes more sense, I guess, than there being any one official language, because like we speak too many different things around here. Probably the ones that I hear the most would be like, wait, hold on. Is this conservative propaganda? I hear the Jeopardy music playing in my head. I hear the Jeopardy music playing in my head. Official language of the United States. I didn't read this all the way before I quoted it. English was designated as the official language in an executive order on March 1st, 2025. This is just racism, right? That's how I'm going to interpret that. This is literally just being xenophobic. So actually, no. Again, we speak literally everything over here. There's absolutely no way you could point to anyone. The most commonly used language, obviously anyone would tell you what that is. We're not dumb, but like, yeah, no, the fact that this page even exists, I'm very sussed out, actually. Someone said this is MAGA. No, it's giving MAGA. See, I wasn't even paying attention. I was literally trying to have a big conversation about just speaking and other languages that I hear in my day-to-day life, and you wind up on a MAGA propaganda page. That's nasty. Reading chat. Someone says in Miami, Florida, everything is English, Spanish, and sometimes Creole. In San Antonio, Texas, there's Spanish everywhere. It would be really odd to not see a sign that was important printed in both, in my experience anyways. Someone said Trump got too heated about the Bad Bunny Super Bowl, truly. Yeah, no wonder he was mad. Yeah, no, screw that, dog. You can speak whatever language you want here. Oh, Americans, xenophobic and racist ones, are pretty bad about that too, of like, speak English. Maybe you're not going to get somebody like literally saying speak English to you, even though I have literally heard people say that. But people will literally just shoot like dirty looks or act uncomfortable when people speak a language in front of you that you don't understand. And I think that is heinous behavior, frankly. You would be surprised how common it is for people to just be uncomfortable with two other people in front of them speaking a language that they don't know. People absolutely are this way here. Yeah, I'm on the elevator. Two people come in and they have a conversation in, I don't know, Spanish, Turkish, whatever. They walk off. And then the people who are still remaining express some sort of discomfort. Chat, if you're bothered, then just learn Spanish. If you hate the idea of people conversing naturally around you because you're just that nosy, you actually have recourse. It doesn't equal no one should speak Spanish in your boring presence. You can learn these languages and then you can be as nosy as you want. Someone that just says speak English. Yeah, no, this attitude that we should be standardized and all speaking the same thing at all times is so stupid. Like, if no one's talking to you, how does it matter? It really doesn't. Someone said nosy a-holes trying to know everyone's business. For real, for real. Someone says, I hear people speak their native language all the time and it never bothered me. I'm normal. Yeah, it's not weird. It really is not. I hear people have conversations in like Russian, Spanish, Turkish, and sometimes languages that I don't know. And I'm like, whoa, I wonder what that is. If anything, that's the main thing that I will think if I hear a language that I can't recognize just by sound. I do sometimes wonder like, whoa, I really wonder what they're speaking. I'm so interested, but that's again me being nosy. It's not me demanding that they answer things for me. Someone said, I've had people being mean when I speak Albanian, like say being jealous. Period. Let them squirm. You speak as much as you want. Like, literally, we owe these people nothing. I say we as if I'm somebody who knows the second language. You owe people like me nothing. How about that? How about that, dog? Someone says, I feel like they don't have the same energy with people who speak European languages like German or French. Well, this is tricky because I hear what you're saying. And you're probably right. I think the idea of like what even is a European language is my first question. Because like I know what you mean, but then languages get spread all over the place. Like, could Spanish technically also be seen as a European language? Even though I know it is also very much the language of other places, an American language, etc. But you're correct that it really, like, you don't want to go too deep on it. You don't want to go too deep on it because people are awful towards everybody, but there's a correlation between languages that are associated with specific places and people are just generally worse about those ones. Someone says Spanish is a European language. So yeah, it's like Spanish is a European language and not a European language at the same time. Someone said, don't say that about Spanish. Yeah, no, like people here speaking it has nothing to do with Europe specifically. Someone said, and French is not only European. That's true, though. They be speaking French all over the place. So all this to say, the concept of what a European language even is worth discussing or thinking about. Someone said the amount of English that's just other languages, too. Yeah, like almost all of it. English is such a mishmash of so many different things. And sometimes we don't even change the pronunciation. Or we will like mess the pronunciation up and then just keep the word. Someone said a linguist could very accurately answer these questions. Yes, or someone with more brain cells than me, which would be almost anyone. Someone said, I like this comment. Like if someone from France and someone from Africa are both speaking French, because French is spoken there a lot, who do we think is going to get more help from xenophobia? See, there's layers and there's levels, and that's an important point. Yeah, people will probably be nasty if you're speaking anything, if these people are xenophobic, but then as that intersects with other forms of bigotry, it just gets all complex and nasty and gross. Some say English is a bunch of languages in a trench coat. It very much is. Language is political, or rather can be. I agree. It definitely is, undeniably. Someone said my French great-grandpa was a Latino. Yo, let's go. Someone said France and Africa. Yeah. Dude, the history of Africa is wild. The entitlement of the rest of the world is wild, and I say that over here from America. We do the same thing, but oh my god. Oh my god. Someone says, is this live? Yes, I am live right now on YouTube. I will not be indefinitely, but I am happy to be here. Someone said, don't forget French Canada. There be hella French speakers in Canada, and I need to brush up on my history because I don't know why. I know that's like the dumbest thing you've probably heard all day, but what is with all of the French Canadians? I can guess why, obviously. But like, what happened there? That's very interesting. Very interesting. And someone said, I study linguistics and I'm living for this conversation. Well, I hope I'm not botching it too much. That's all I hope. All right. I'm going to pull up Slate, y'all. It's time for some relationship advice if we're being honest. Someone said this is live. It's very live, yes. And that's why I'm going to sound like a goofy goober probably for a lot of this, but I'm doing my best. Okay, let me put my... Give me a second. I got to change my word replacer out. XXX. Okay, X'd out of all my other ones. Look, I use this app or this plugin sometimes to replace words in a page. Like if a page has a bunch of slurs on it and I have to get rid of them. That way YouTube doesn't get me in trouble. And in this case, I'm going to be replacing the name Prudence with D'Angelo. Okay, great. Perfect. Dear D'Angelo is Slate's advice column and podcast where D'Angelo, responds to your questions about relationships at home, work, and beyond. Chat, it's time to save some people's lives. I'm literally going to save lives. By fixing all of their relationship problems. What I usually do is I just wait like a month or so for new ones to pile in because I don't want to constantly be rehashing the same ones. But I actually think it might have even been 2 months since the last time we did this. Someone said, how do you do this? I use a plugin called Word Replacer Max. So let's do, I think we usually do 3 because some of these are just really boring. Should we do my perfectly normal swimwear is going to get me banned from the public pool? Guess why? I feel like this isn't even relationship advice, but it's such a good example of clickbait that I want to know what they're talking about. How could perfectly normal swimwear get you banned from a public pool? This also, by the way, has come with this very like suggestive, blurry picture of what appears to be a Speedo of some sort. So you know what? I'm going to start here. Someone said, can you read Am I the A-hole? Yes, I'm going to do Am I the A-hole after this. I usually combine my Slate relationship advice with a little bit of Am I the A-hole. So don't worry. Stick around if that's what you want. But also, warning, we go through Am I the A-hole posts very slowly. And we usually only get to 2 or 3 because we go deep. We go too deep with them. Yeah, what is this about? Help, my perfectly normal swimwear is going to get me banned from the public pool. Guess why? Someone said someone of larger body is wearing it. I see that a lot. Where 2 people will be wearing the same thing, but one of these people will be bigger. And so all of a sudden you want to demand that this person doesn't get away with that. It's ugly. And the fact that people are like this is ugly and I hate it. But yeah, I wonder. Dear D'Angelo, my wife, this may be a man writing. Maybe. I'm being heteronormative right now. My wife and I recently returned from France, where we were living for the last 3 months for an extended visit with my wife's family. I've never been much of an athlete, but while in France, I started swimming regularly with my brother-in-law. I fell in love with it and was looking forward to continuing my newfound hobby back in the US, but there's one problem. My swimwear. Wait, what? Most men in France swim in Speedos. Okay, so this less fabric-y clothing is the norm instead of board shorts, and many municipal pools in France ban board shorts outright. Is that true? Am I just falling for something? Is it true that pools you can't wear board shorts there, you have to wear a Speedo? I don't know if I'm supposed to take this at face value. This is some serious culture shock. Someone said no, they don't. It literally does not sound. That doesn't sound. Someone said I'm from France and this is not true. Yeah, me neither. Me neither. It doesn't sound true to me either. I'm not from France, but someone says it's got to be airtight. Okay. I didn't want to have to Google this. Are board shorts banned at French pools? What the? Swimming shorts banned. So I'm either a stupid tourist or the French world is mad. I took a stop by his public pool. Big surprise. Swimming shorts are not allowed. To hit the pool, you have to wear a Speedo. Which, by the looks of the French here, are not the type favored by Italian men in their 60s at the beach. They're close-fitting shorts. Okay. Casually outside. The goal is to prevent people from keeping the same piece of clothing. Okay. This is all new to me. So, okay. Hey, we've got some info. I literally pulled this from Reddit, so this could also be not true, but let's just keep going. I don't want to get too held up. This was a serious culture shock to me at first, but I quickly realized how much more comfortable Speedos are and continued to wear them while starting to swim regularly at our local pool back in the US. I see. He wasn't okay. One day, the head lifeguard pulled me aside and informed me that my choice of swimming attire had made several swimmers uncomfortable and that there had been complaints about me over the past few weeks. I was taken aback. Wait, are y'all saying there's no sound? Testing 1 2 3, testing 1 2 3. I think I'm transmitting sound. Hold on, chat. Give me a second. I'm transmitting sound. Where's my refresh the page? Refresh the page if you can't hear. I can't fix it. Sorry. Yeah. I think usually this is just a thing that YouTube does. It happens pretty consistently, by the way, like at the 2.5 hour mark, where for some reason my audio will just cut out for seemingly a very large portion of the people here. Someone says sounds good and has been good. Yeah, for some people it doesn't happen, but yeah. Refresh the page. Let me drink some water. Heck yeah, hydration. Okay, I think we're good now. Anyways, headed back to this. Let's see. Anyways, my choice of swimming attire had made people uncomfortable. Okay, so people have been complaining for weeks about this guy back in the US in his Speedo. I was taken aback. There are other men who swim here regularly and wear Speedos, so there isn't any kind of ban. I thought this was ridiculous and continued to wear it, and was then told that I could be permanently banned for violating the pool's code of conduct because of inappropriate swim. I just saw the next paragraph. As I was reading the current one, and I can't do this. I was told I could be permanently banned for violating the pool's code of conduct because of inappropriate swimwear if I didn't wear something else. That's when I figured out what's really going on. D'Angelo, I hate to be crude, but I know what this is really about. I am significantly well endowed. And even though my Speedos fit properly and nothing is hanging out in any way, my package is definitely more noticeable than average. I'm not bragging, it's simply a fact, and I believe that this is the root of the issue. I feel targeted for something I can't control by prudish, body-shaming Americans, and it's unfair to me that I'm facing an outright ban because people are offended by my genitals. My wife thinks I should just find another pool to swim at, but all the other pools nearby are more expensive, and I resent needing to pay more because an aspect of my body offends people. I'm considering taking the issue further and reaching out to the city in whatever way possible so I can continue to swim here in peace. At this point, this is a matter of principle for me, but I'm seeking an outside perspective. What do you say? Sure. Sure, buddy. That's my initial response. Now look, you might have heard all of this and you're like, D'Angelo, someone just explained that they're being body shamed and targeted, and you're reacting with disbelief. I cannot explain how much what's incredulousness I'm feeling right now. That this is even happening or is real. Someone said this is so unserious. This is beyond unserious. I'm sorry. I don't believe this. I believe maybe it's true. Maybe there's some secret struggle out here for all of the homies out here who are in this position. I just don't think that this is real, dog. Someone said, man, we'll do anything to not take accountability. My first thought is like, where's the part right here? Where's the part where he said it fits? This is my first thought, is that he's wrong about this part right here. I could be wrong. I could be incorrect. Someone in chat said they're being shamed for being well endowed and you're laughing. I know. I'm revealing myself to be a terrible person here. My very first thought is, are you sure that your Speedos fit properly? Especially when you're saying that other people are literally wearing them with no issue. That's where I'm starting. If we were to take this at face value, I would argue everyone should be able to operate under the same framework, so it shouldn't matter what is under your clothes. That's not important, and that's not the point of wearing swimwear. And if anyone has a problem, they can, I don't know, but I'm struggling so badly right now. Someone said just wear the swim shorts. Literally, like, he already was okay with swim shorts. Oh my god, this is so stupid. Okay, so let's see what Prudence has to say. Wow, there's actually multiple people answering this. Oh wait, okay, so this Prudence one literally has multiple Prudences. This is both Janae Desmond Harris and Lizzie O'Leary answering as Prudence. So let's see what they say. Janae says, this feels similar to the thing where a beautiful young teacher will use social media to report that she was told her outfit was inappropriate, and 75% of the people in the comments agree the issue is not the outfit, but the fact that she's curvy, and no one would blink an eye if a skinny woman wore the same thing. And then there are a handful of people who are like, well, excuse me, she needs to dress appropriately for her body if she knows what she has going on. Okay, hold on. This does not feel like that same thing to me at all. Hold on. This doesn't feel like the same thing. I personally think that if a woman is coming forward and saying, I wore clothes and they got sexualized and labeled inappropriate because I exist, that's definitely not the same thing as it happening to this guy, because literally there are so many additional layers of context. And, well, I don't know if this is a good comparison. This dude being told this is not rooted in a history of policing people's bodies. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the verbiage I was looking for. A man getting told that his swimwear may be inappropriate is not actually stemming from a societal urge to police what people do with their bodies, especially when they look certain ways. In my opinion, as some of the different issues, that's how I feel. But Prudence too. Someone said two things can be true. Two things can't be true, and he is still being policed by his own admission for sure. But so Lizzie O'Leary says, Janae, I want you to know that whatever happens to me when HR calls, I did it all for you. Because here I am on my work computer Googling products for this and spending some time, God help me, on the Big Dick Problems subreddit. Hello, Slate. This is for work. I don't think you need to switch pools. I also don't think you need to write to the city. People are weird about bodies, and while it's absurd to be constantly policing one another, and I understand the desire to give someone a talking to, we can solve this the American way, with shopping. Janae says, wait, do we want to share a link to the swimsuit solution, which would arguably make the problem worse, that you sent to me? The one that's probably going to get flagged and lead to me having to take the workplace's sexual harassment training or something? I feel like if I had to see it, everyone else does too. Okay, so they said they... I don't think I should look at this on stream. Oh, these are fine. Okay, I get it. So apparently they make swimwear specifically for this issue? I didn't know that. Chat. I had no idea. Someone in chat, by the way, said as a hung trans woman, I've never been told that my swim attire is not appropriate. I doubt this guy's story. Yeah, I'm still in the camp of doubt, but apparently, seemingly, even if this did happen as explained, it seems like there's a brand here that I'm not going to promote because I'm not getting paid, and I wouldn't promote a brand like this if my life depended on it. That, you know, he can get the best of both worlds. He can get the best of both worlds. What? Oh, wait, there's a second link here. I am literally so fearful of opening things like this. Oh, what the actual... Okay, no. There's too many... Oh my god. Okay, so anyways, with varying levels of explicitness, you can probably solve this by maybe wearing different Speedos. That's all I'm going to say. That's all. Someone said, what did I walk into? I'm lost in the best way. I'm reading a post about a guy who says that his junk was too big, and when he wore Speedos, the same ones everyone else was wearing, he would get told, no, you have to change because you're making people uncomfortable. And I didn't believe him. But if that is true, it seems like people make special clothes for that situation. So he doesn't have to suffer alone. I know life must be super difficult. Someone said the face you made, D'Angelo, what did you see? Nothing that needs to be shown on a YouTube live stream. Someone said this is great relationship advice. I know this has literally nothing to do. Okay, well, there you go. Your first slate relationship advice had nothing to do with relationships. We just talked about swimwear size. I hope that was useful. As I said, I'm literally saving lives over here. What the actual heck was that? Someone says, do you believe in once a cheater, always a cheater? Wow. Do I believe in once a cheater, always a cheater? I believe in once a cheater, you're always someone who has cheated. That's what I believe. I don't hold the view that people are incapable of change, even when it comes to things like cheating, which really sucks, and you shouldn't do this to anybody. Once you're a cheater, you can totally stop cheating, I guess, if you suddenly develop the empathy that you need to do that. But I do genuinely believe once you're a cheater, you're in that category of someone who has cheated. And if I change the way that I interact with you based off of that, I'm within my right to do that. That's due to your actions. So even if you don't go cheat from here on out, which I would certainly hope, it's not really fair to expect me to not use this as a data point in our future dealings. It's not fair at all, actually. So that's my opinion. That's how I feel. Someone said exact thoughts. Yeah, no, like definitely change and grow as a person. I don't believe this means you're incapable of never cheating, but I got to protect my peace. Obviously, I didn't cheat, so I'm not the one who should really be worried about who's reacting to this or how people are reacting. Someone said that's called consequences. Yeah, for sure. Someone says, I don't believe cheating once brands you for life, but it leaves a mark. That's how I feel. Exactly. I'm not gonna like start treating you, I guess, like a bad person, but you did something bad that totally changes what I thought you were capable of, and that's not something I can control, I guess. Reading chat. Someone said, unless you specifically decide to work on yourself, you'll always be a cheater. I think if you cheated on somebody, like I'm talking just normal circumstances, you know that you're wrong. And there's no other sort of other context about this. If you cheated on someone knowingly knowing it was wrong, and you don't move to a different headspace that wouldn't allow you to make the decision the second time, then yeah, you pretty much still a cheater. Somebody who thought that this was okay at any point is a cheater. I need to see how you're moving into a space where you don't think that that's okay. And then I wouldn't be thinking of you as a cheater, I guess. But like saying sorry, babe, that doesn't actually indicate to me that you've moved out of this cheating space right here. That's wild, dog. That is wild as hell. Somebody said cheating is not a mistake. That's a choice they made knowing it would hurt their partner. So F cheaters. Yeah, people definitely, I've talked about this on stream before, but people definitely act like they tripped. Like, oops, oh no, now I'm in bed with someone else and we chose to have sex with each other. Uh-oh, I cheated. Sorry, we just got carried away. What? At every single level, you made choices that put you in this position. You created an environment in which I was not present and you were alone with this other person. You created an environment in which y'all two were alone together, seemingly from everybody. No one was there. And then you move past all of these additional steps that you have to do to actually complete the cheating, even though there's all kinds of ways to cheat and they don't all have to be actually having, intercourse or whatever. But like, dog, the minimizing of cheating is crazy to me. It's really crazy to me. Reading chat. Someone said, I cheated on a guy when I was 16 and it made me realize how quickly I fall out of relationships. So I got some therapy and now I'm happily married at 25. Growth can happen, but not without some big work. Exactly. You are an example of a person I'm not going to say like, nope, you're going to cheat on your partner because when you were 16, you hadn't done the work that you needed to know or see or view this as wrong. Like making wrong and bad decisions intentionally is something that people do. And I just don't want to live in a world where that means you are forever tied to those. Like, yeah, actions have consequences, but it's pretty grim to believe that no one is capable of doing terrible things on purpose and then just making sure they're not doing this in the future. But like, you are also talking about work over years and you doing so much effort on yourself. And you're very much framing this from a personal responsibility standpoint, which I appreciate. People who are actually cheaters never do this. They never do this. Like people who are still going to cheat, they never are willing to do any work. And that's what pisses me off. I'm just like, you just want me to forgive you for what? The vibes. So yeah, no, I appreciate you doing that for sure, but you're not even the kinds of people I'm thinking of when I just get pissed off, honestly. Reading. Someone said essentializing people by transgression is effed and punitivist. Yeah, you shouldn't just get reduced to cheater forever because this is something that you did. That's not how we should want the world to work. But unfortunately, a lot of people who do cheat want to move on way too quickly, and it's just stupid, dog. It's stupid. Anyways, okay, let's get back to this. I also love how like we're getting more relationship type stuff off of something that someone said in chat instead of this website. That I literally came here for relationship stuff. Okay. I explicitly told my boyfriend never to give me this one gift. He did it anyway, and I'm furious. Wait, I kind of like this one. I kind of like this one because I feel like it doesn't sound... I feel like it doesn't sound like a bad thing, maybe to most people, of like, oh, what do you mean? He gave you a gift and you're upset. But I feel like this is a very bad thing because of reasons that I hope we get into. So let's do this one. I'm kind of excited. Wait, someone in chat said my hot take, the take just leave an abusive relationship is actually narrow-sighted and unhelpful. The take just leave an abusive relationship doesn't even work. I agree with you. Before we get into this slate thing, I want to say that no one can just leave their abusive relationships because no one wants to be in one of those. If you really like could easily leave these things, then you would. I feel like we have such a deep misunderstanding of like, oh my gosh, well, why did they even stay together? Why would they even stay together? Because so much of the abuse that happens is literally through the framework of making people believe that they can't leave. And so I feel like I don't know when society will ever get over their lack of understanding of how abusive relationships actually work. Like, just leave, dog. Don't you think people would if it was literally that simple? So it's 100% because it's never easy to just leave. Literally, I don't think I've ever in my life seen somebody who was in an abusive relationship that I think they could have easily left. I've never seen that. I've seen ones where it almost seems like they could have easily left from an outside perspective. But once you get some of this additional context, you'll see it's literally never that simple. Reading chat. Someone says it's so short-sighted of the real documented increase in danger when someone leaves an abusive relationship. Well, that too, like just leaving isn't even always a safe and simple, easy thing that someone can do. Obviously, we should all be leaving these relationships to the best of our ability, but doing so in a way that is safe is so important. I don't think people realize how important that is. I also think too, like, when people get mad at like, or not mad, but when people start like saying, well, why didn't you report this? Why didn't you report that? The actual fear that people can have over reporting things in a way that's not going to escalate or invoke retaliation. Nobody ever seems to take those things into account either. And it's just bad, honestly. Someone said considering people literally die trying to leave, it's not that easy. Yeah, no, I kind of hate that. Someone says you need to provide support, financial, emotional, couch to crash on, literally anything so that the victim feels like they have somewhere to go if they leave. That's more beneficial than just saying, oh, just leave him or leave her or leave them. Definitely just being like, well, if you need help, I can see what I can do. It goes a lot longer or a lot further than just like, oh, just leave for real. Someone says seeing my younger sister stuck in an emotionally abusive relationship is heartbreaking. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, that does suck. I don't almost want to say we all, but I almost feel like we all have someone in our life who is in an abusive relationship. I know I do, or have at various points, and it's just like, that is a tricky one, man. That's tricky. Reading chat. Some says the victim often gets darvoed and confused. Yeah, no, we're very backwards on our thinking of who the onus actually falls on when it comes to this sort of thing. Anyways, that was a good shout, whoever said that. Dear D'Angelo, help. I explicitly told my boyfriend never to give me this one gift, and he did it anyway, and I'm furious. And he did it in bed. Okay, more advice from Janae Desmond Harris. Of course, I'm going to pretend like I'm the one giving the advice. All right, so we're going to read about my boyfriend Ryan and I, who were on the verge of breaking up over a gift he gave me that he knew I didn't want. I am going to drink some water. I drank all of my water and I need more. So I'm going to leave you with the pleasing tones of my intro music that I'm not going to allow to play for 5 minutes. I'll be back sooner, but I love this song so much, man. Okie dokie. Someone says some people should have dogs. Should or shouldn't? Maybe some people should. I think a lot more people shouldn't. Well, that sounds bad. I like dogs. Dogs are great, and I want to see more dogs in the world. But also, I think a lot of people gotta do more research before getting dogs, for sure. Someone said I want a CD of this intro song. That would be interesting. Maybe I could just make a couple other songs and then release an EP or something. Even though I am not committing to anything. Someone said, D'Angelo, I love your music so much. Thank you. I don't want to say I've been working on things because then people are going to like want you to put those things out. And that's not happening. But I have been thinking a lot about music. And maybe I'll do more. I don't know. I'm excited about it. Yay. It's so nice to have a hobby that doesn't have any sort of analytics or numerical anything attached to it. But if I finish a song, I will play it for you all. That's my only promise. Anyways, my boyfriend Ryan and I, if you just joined and you're like, what is he talking about? It's relationship advice for this person who said, I explicitly told my boyfriend never to give me this one gift, and he did anyway, and I'm furious. My boyfriend Ryan and I are on the verge of breaking up. Someone said chat display is stuck. Refresh. Okay, I fixed it. Thank you for telling me because I didn't even notice. My boyfriend Ryan and I are on the verge of breaking up over a gift he gave me that he knew I didn't want. Ryan and I have been together for a little over 2 years, and in all that time, I was always very clear that I never wanted any surprise gifts in the form of animals without being consulted first. Ryan is a dog person. I am not. For my 27th birthday last month, I woke up to find his gift for me in our bed, a husky puppy. So out of all the dogs to just suddenly saddle somebody with, this man chose a husky. Whoa. Whoa. I have a friend who owns this breed of dog, so I know how much work they require. We ended up in a big fight that culminated with me telling him I was leaving that day if he didn't return the puppy to the breeder. A husky that you got from a breeder? Oh, come on, man. He grudgingly complied, but things have been chilly between us since. Ryan claimed that his expectation was that I would see how great having a dog is once I, quote, had a chance to live the experience. I feel like what he did was a major betrayal since I was upfront with him from the beginning. Is this something we can work through, or would it be better to move on without him? Oh, nah. Someone said husky's like the end of the spectrum of dog behavior and maintenance. Dude, they take a lot of care, a lot of energy. They have a lot of energy is the thing about them. So you have to keep up with that. This isn't, oh my God. Someone said 50 red flags rolled into one action. Literally. Someone said he got a gift for himself and is expecting you to take care of it. It's very much that. Yeah. If she said that she didn't want this and you get it anyway, framing this as something that you've done for her is actually, now hear me out. This is a part where it's not that deep, except I actually think that's kind of indicative of some much larger issues. Just the idea of knowingly violating someone's wishes and portraying this as a gift so that from the outside, it actually seems like you did something sweet. And this person might even sound a little crazy if they complain about it. What did they say that they were on the verge of breaking up? I recommend that you complete that. I recommend that you complete the breakup process because, oh buddy. Someone said not at all. Huskies are fine. They're just short-tempered, a bit aloof. It's just hair care that it needs. I think any amount of maintenance is a lot. And a dog that, for example, can be short-tempered and you need extra care to think about their coat is definitely a big step over, well, no dog, let alone one that maybe has less to think about. Someone said imagine if this wasn't about a dog. Someone said break up. Reading chat. Someone says that's emotional vampire behavior. Yeah. Someone said it's like not respecting consent basics. Yeah, it sounds like it's just about a dog, but you examine it a little bit deeper and it's like, this is very off-putting. Someone said, and they scream. Huskies can be a little excited is how I would put it for sure. Someone said, I never heard the term puppy trapping before. Is this a thing? This cannot be a thing because that's literally so bleak. That's so bleak. This can't be a thing that people do where they will just give you a dog to try to get you to stay with them. Okay, I don't see any results for this term. For the love of God, don't do this. Please don't do this ever. That's a terrible, terrible, terrible thing to do to somebody for so many reasons. Someone said it is a thing. Oh my God. Yeah, no, that's really twisted behavior. I cannot overstate how weird that is to buy somebody a dog from a breeder. And oh man. No. Anyways, Prudence's advice says, I wouldn't categorize this as a major betrayal. L. That's an L. I'm sorry. I didn't even finish reading this advice. This is a terrible answer. This is a major betrayal. I wouldn't categorize this as a major betrayal, but it was a very bad move that wasn't at all considerate of you and totally disregarded a specific request to avoid surprising you. The word that comes to mind for me is actually childish. Okay. It's very immature to think puppy and dismiss all concerns about what owning one will actually mean, and of course whether the would-be owner even wants a pet. The gift itself was extremely misguided, but forgivable. I'm sorry, Prudence. I'm sorry. It's an L for me. I strongly disagree that this is a forgivable offense and that it's not a major betrayal. I know this might sound like I'm overreacting, but I would break up with someone over this. I'm sorry. If I'm like, there's one thing that I don't want you to ever do, and it's surprise me with an animal. And then just to come home to this in my bed, I'd be like, why am I with someone who did the one thing that I said I never wanted to happen? No, this is an L for me, Prudence. She says, I'm more concerned about Ryan's reaction to your pushback. Why did this become a fight? And why is he still seemingly holding a grudge? Finally, why isn't he the one trying to figure out a way to work through the tension caused by his misstep? None of this makes him look very good as a partner. Okay, I agree with that, obviously. You know how you have a friend with husky, so you are aware of how much work they are. Do you have any friends with emotionally immature, stubborn partners? Do you see how much work they do? Give this some time with Ryan and see whether he redeems himself or shows some growth. And if he doesn't, don't hesitate to make your no inconsiderate boyfriend's policy as firm as your no high maintenance large dogs one. No, this is a bad response. I know that he did this thing that totally like disrespected your wishes, but hear him out. And I know that he reacted really badly when you brought this up and then you had a fight and now he's currently holding a grudge against you. But he might just be being a little bit mature and you should give him a chance. No, I categorically disagree with this. Someone said Prudence is the boyfriend. I know, like, dog, this is way too easy on the boyfriend of this scenario. Reading chat. Someone says Hoover, a vacuum cleaner or anti-aging cream would have been less insulting. Oh my god. It's giving romance advice columns from 2000s magazine for humor. Literally, like, what are we reinforcing here? Stay in these odd circumstances if you are already considering breaking up with this person. For what? There's no reason to do that, dog. Reading chat. Someone said Prudence definitely does give pets as presents. Okay, anyways, let's see if we can pull one more. Yeah, no, I'm here to, oh my god, the picture, the Speedo picture. I'm here to tell you right now that this is absolute, I don't need to tell you guys, but this is absolutely as bad as this sounds. You are not overreacting by being very worried about that. Someone says rehome the dog and the man. Literally. Anyways, my friend ended her engagement, but now she's paying people who say they'll do something ridiculous to her ex. I had to take drastic measures against my dad's gambling problem, but now I'm the person paying for it. Okay. Overnight, my husband became convinced I was out to end his life. Whoa. What he did next is turn our family apart. That sounds like it's above my pay grade. I invited my broke friends to come live on my farm under one condition. They've already broken it. That one's kind of interesting. Help, my sister wants to name her baby after me. I really don't want the honor. I like this one. My sister wants to name her baby after me, and I don't want her to. Can we get into that, chat? That sounds like there's going to be a lot here, because I already have mixed feelings about this. I'm actually thinking right now, my siblings are not old enough to have children, and I don't really think that they're the kinds of people who would name a child D'Angelo in my honor, and I really don't want them to. I don't want anyone to be named after me for any reason. Anyways, let's see. Reading chat. Someone says, I want to know about the friend farm. Okay, wait. The friend farm is kind of interesting though. I agree, low key, that this one's interesting. So we'll see if the vibes are right and if I remember to get to this one after. But I want to get into this name one. So, dear D'Angelo, last year, someone said I named my son after my brother. He loved it. It depends on the brother. It depends on the brother. If your brother loves the idea of there being a child named after him, then it's a sweet thing to do. I'm sure your brother represents a very positive force in your life, which is what motivated you to do this. And that's not weird to have the same name as your uncle. I don't think there's anything wrong with the practice. I would just really not want a nephew, a niece, a nibbling named after me for any reason. Because it would make me uncomfortable, and maybe that's more of a me problem than it is. My name is just a word and you can do whatever you want, but like for me, I know I would not be the kind of person that loves it. So I would feel very odd about that for so many reasons. Anyways, someone said the parents pick. I mean, you can certainly pick against my wishes. Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah, no, see, like, you can do whatever you want and should, I guess. But if you have asked me what I think about this and I express discomfort, I guess I would question why you asked me in the first place. Maybe you should have just done it. I don't know. Again, we don't know the context of this at all. Someone says if one is uncomfortable with an eponym, that's one's problem. That's so funny. I guess I agree that it's more of a me problem, but like, why exactly would you be so insistent on your desire to name someone a word that you would, I guess, ignore what is a problem for someone else, is how I'm thinking of it. Again, if one of my siblings wants to name a child after me, that's fine. What am I going to do? Sue them? It's not the phrase hot girls read. You can name your kid D'Angelo all you want, but like, people name people after other people for reasons, and those reasons would make me uncomfortable personally. Someone said, what if I don't like the kid? I mean, okay, that's an entirely different thing, but it could happen for sure. Anyways, moving on. Let's see what it says here, because we don't even know what it says here. Last year I had an illness and an emergency surgery that took away my ability to have children. While I was and still am single, I wasn't even sure if I ever wanted children, but I still mourn the loss. My sister's pregnant with a girl and recently surprised me by telling me she would like to give the baby my name in honor of me. Okay. I'm a bit ashamed to admit I did not have the reaction she was hoping for. I certainly didn't react poorly. Well, they think they didn't. Maybe she did. But I also did not react with joy because honestly, I find this sentiment a tad weird. Okay, my sister and I are very close and I know she means well, but I just really don't want my niece to have my name. She should have her own name. My sister was crestfallen and I quickly apologized and told her I'd be honored if my niece had my name as it says my middle name. I think I mean as her middle name, which I would truly be okay with. I agree that I would be more okay if your name was like, I don't know, Bob D'Angelo. If you wanted to name your child something D'Angelo, whatever the last name is, I would be less weirded out by that for sure, because your middle name is just fun trivia. But I think she thought I was just trying to be nice. We haven't talked about it since. I do feel bad about how it played out, but I'm not sure if I should bring it up again or just let it go or wait to see if she brings it up. So my question is, should I bring it up again? I don't know. And if so, how do I approach this? I was going to say something along the lines of, sis, I'm so sorry. I didn't have the reaction I know you were hoping for. It really means a lot to me that you want to be supportive of me, and I'm so grateful. I mean so much to you that you want to name your daughter after me. It would be very special to me if you gave her my name as her middle name. That's fine. I think that's an okay response. I don't think this is weird or red flaggy at all, and I appreciate it. It says, I just don't know really how to explain to her why I don't want my niece to have my name without offending my sister. Any suggestions? Oh, that's so interesting. That's so interesting. Yeah, personally, I don't think that this person is wrong thus far. I think hearing news and just being like telling the truth and just being like, oh, ooh, well, what if you tried this other thing? Because I actually don't really, I'm not comfortable. Like, is fine. I don't think you should just lie if you're not comfortable and say like you think it's really great and awesome. And I also feel like offering the alternative is a good thing. I guess it really more so depends on what happens from here going forward, right? Reading chat. Someone said names are very personal. It's very human to feel like it's your name. I think here's the thing for me. I actually don't really feel like D'Angelo is my name any more than any of the other various monikers I've used to describe myself over the years. It's not that I feel ownership over my name. It's actually more so, and sorry to like be annoying or cringe about this, but like I can just be the absolute worst person. I really can. I really am. And there have been periods in my life where I have chosen to do the wrong thing and to be a bad person. I think if you think of me as like someone who was worth looking up to, that's fine. But it's really not indicative of how I view myself at all. I think there's so many reasons, honestly, that you should just let me have my own problems and completely distance yourself from anything I have or have not done. I'm just not really a good enough person to name anything after. And when I die, there better not be a single street, a single school, anything like that. So that's more so how I'm approaching it. I'm just a person. I'm just some individual. I may have done a lot of things that might have endeared me to you, and I'm very happy about that. But I don't represent something good enough to pass down, in my opinion. That's how I feel. So that's why I would not want anyone or anything named after me, because it's just like, yes, I try to be a good person, but that's literally not the same thing. It's enough because it's all I can manage, but no. name the child after something that is actually objectively like, I don't know. That's how I feel personally, dog. Oh, I don't know about that one, man. Reading. Someone says, D'Angelo, can you understand that there are people who have done absolutely horrendous, grotesque, the worst things to you, and whatever you may have done is nothing compared to it? Hey, I don't think I'm an awful person. I just don't fall into the trap of thinking I'm a good person. I think that's a really big one. You should try to be a good person, and you should think of yourself as somebody who, well, tries to be a good person, but it's actually really easy to not be good in this world by simply remaining neutral in most circumstances. I think we live in a world where if you're just born and then assume a neutral stance and carry that all the way to death, you probably have at many times been a bad person without intending to. That's how I feel personally. So I'm still literally trying to parse what areas of my life I am or am not doing good in. Let me figure that out. But, I guess if you just detach my name from me entirely and just treat it as a word, it doesn't matter who's named what. But yeah, that's really tricky, dog. That's really tricky, honestly. Someone says it's easier to be neutral or negative than positive. No, for real. Yeah, don't name anything after me, for the love of God. Okay. Yeah, that's my opinion. Again, that's me. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. My personal stance is personal. It's just that. So whatever, dog. It's okay. Someone says both a relief and devastating to know you're just a normie. Yeah, we are all literally just some person. Reading chat. Someone says, I don't get how having her name would mean her niece doesn't have her own name. I would find it difficult to give a child a name from my culture that someone I know doesn't already have. Well, I think that's a little, I personally think that's a little bit different. Cause like, if you got like I don't know, Johns in your family, or whatever, and then you're like, we're gonna name the child John or whatever. I don't think that's using a family name is the same thing as specifically using a family member's name because of that person. So like if I was one of many D'Angelos in my family and my kids were like, we're going with D'Angelo, I wouldn't really care because I wouldn't assume that that has much to do with me. I mean, I probably would because I'm selfish, but I would understand I'm not the only person in the world. But I think in this specific case and the way that I'm thinking of it, it was framed as, we're doing this because of you. Aren't you happy about this? So that's more so how I'm approaching it. Someone says, sorry, I already named my 6 kids after you. They have the same name. I'm going to make an OC with your name. You can name any fictional thing you want after me. That's fine. More of that. Someone says it's not about it being a name no one else has. It's about saying I'm naming them after a specific person. Yeah, that's how I feel. Again, if like you have family names that are routinely used, like I have those in my family actually. Like my middle name is like a family name. It's not just specifically based off of one person. Reading. Someone says, do you think it's better to have an extremely common name like John or something very uncommon like Zeus? I'm going to give you an annoying non-answer. We need to normalize changing your name. That's my answer. I think there's a lot to be said about parents giving their kids like unique names or whatever. Personally, I would default to not using super unique names for your kids. This is just me. Like if I had a child, but I don't. So I'm just saying I would mostly try to give them a name that's not going to stand out very much and leave the standing out to them if that's something they want to do. I will give them a crazy middle name though. I'm sorry. I would give my kids the craziest middle names. But really, I think if you want to be named Zeus or something, we should just live in a world where it's normal to change your name for any reason at any point. I have friends that have really interesting names that you probably won't hear in many other places. And they made those decisions for themselves. So that's how I feel. Personally, someone said my sister changed her name. Let's go. Naming my kids Angelo, B Angelo, C Angelo, and D'Angelo. Let's go. Someone says my partner's name is Shadow, and he says it has helped him in life. But I agree with you. That's metal as hell. You're saying your partner's parents named them Shadow? That is wild to me. That's amazing though. Yeah, I mean, like, I hate to bring up Love Island in casual conversation because I feel like I'm turning into a specific kind of person. But anyways, in Love Island, one of the contestants there is named Sincere. And I think that that's a beautiful name. That is such a nice name, for real. I feel like having names that you don't see commonly, not that he's the only person named Sincere, is beautiful. And I want to see more of those. And also, I just think like if you yourself are like, no, I like that name and I'm changing my name to that too, you should just be able to do it and without getting pushed back, for real. For real. Someone said, isn't this the 7th time you brought up Love Island? It's the 7th time I brought up Love Island today. Yes, it's getting bad. But I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best to not be a person who brings up Love Island in casual conversation. It's just, what am I supposed to do if the last interesting name I'm thinking of that I've heard is Sincere and it happens to be from that show? Oh no. Someone said using words as names is awesome, for real. So I want to see more Serenity. That's pretty. That's a pretty name right there. Reading chat. I never changed my name, but I introduced myself with a shortened version of the name and nobody questioned it ever. See, let people identify the way that they want to. That's how I feel. The way that they feel. Someone said, trust, unique names are coming with Gen Z. True. Oh, true. That's interesting to think about. Someone says my ex's name is Sincere. Well, Sincere with a Y. Or is that your ex? Because it turns out in the end they weren't sincere. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe they're a lovely person. Sorry, the joke was just too easy to make. It wasn't even a good one. Someone said I heard virtue names come out in terms of despair. We're gonna see a lot more Felicities, Sincerities. No, I like a good virtue name though. I really do. I think that they're nice. Anyways, someone said a teacher of mine named her kid Silence. That is interesting. Frugal is a nice boy name. Frugality is a virtue for real, though. Like, that is a useful skill to have. My niece's name is Serenity. My name is very unique, but I don't tell anyone my name. That's power right there. I have a pretty interesting name, but that's for me to know. And that's the end of it. Someone said these are my twins, Serenity and Firefly. I want to change my name to Redacted so bad. You can do whatever you want to do. You could go by Red for short. Like, oh, Red. Wow, that's so cool. What's that short for? Redacted. Sorry. You don't have clearance to know. Reading chat. Someone says Silence for a kid. Yeah, I wouldn't name my kid Silence because I wouldn't want it to be something that could theoretically be interpreted as negative. I don't think silence is negative. But I do feel like I wouldn't want a kid thinking like, oh my God, why did my parents name me Silence? Like, did they want me to shut up? I wasn't even here yet. So I would try to have more, maybe less neutral, more positive names personally. Anyways, moving on. Going back. Wait, I feel like Prudence gave such a short answer to this question. This is such a short answer. This person was like, I don't really want this person to be named after me, and here's what I'm going to say. And the only thing Prudence says is, your script is absolutely perfect, aka the thing that she wanted to say about sorry for not having the reaction you wanted. But hey, I do love and I appreciate the honor. Maybe you can do the middle name. Prudence says, I don't exactly know why you don't want your niece to have your name, so I can't help very much with that. But I think just emphasizing that a middle name would work for you would be a nice gesture. That's a W. I think that's a W. This is not bad advice, and I strongly agree that what this person wants to go back and say to her sister is fine. It reads very respectfully, and I think that they should just full send it. Oh my God, that was funny. Okay, well, I'm closing the tab. I do still have. I want to move on to Reddit, but I do still have this farm one open. One person said that they wanted to see what this farm thing was about, so I'm just gonna quickly see. I invited my broke friends to come live on my farm under one condition. They've already broken it. Dear D'Angelo, I feel trapped. 9 months ago, I offered to my financially destitute friends to move in with me. There were several benefits for them, as they'd be moving to a new state where they could receive health insurance, heating, and food assistance. I manage a very nice farm. Also, whilst discussing whilst I spotted someone, they may be a Brit, perhaps. I mean, other people also say this, but I associate this with Britain for some reason. While discussing our plans, they repeatedly, passionately explained that they both were ready and eager to help work on said farm. This agreement was made very public as they were using GoFundMe to help with moving expenses. 6 months ago, they arrived. Our winter, through no fault of theirs or mine, was nightmarish. We experienced crisis after crisis, and we had to leave my house for safety reasons. Our community provided some amazing support for which we are all grateful. It's difficult to explain this timeline, but basically, while we were still trying to handle the crisis, they began working on the farm. After 1 month, they said they needed to stop, that the work was impacting their health. Okay. It was agreed that when the safety concerns in our house were repaired, they moved back in, cleaned up the messes we left during our sudden departure, and unpacked their U-Haul's worth of belongings. Okay. I would work the farm alone. Truthfully, being forced to manage the farm by myself has been an amazing opportunity to discover what I'm capable of. Okay, we get it. What aspects of the farm I want to maintain or drop, or how to make the work easier for everyone who might be involved. And given that both my housemates are now receiving life-saving medical care, I think I worked some of it out. Some of it worked out. However, we are all on extremely limited incomes. Both of them more than I, but not by much. On the house in which they live and I own, I'm paying the mortgage, trash, homeowners insurance, and gas. Whenever they need me to drive them somewhere, $515 a month in gas. Whoa. And they supposedly, as I haven't received any money, are paying the electricity bill. Oh. That's it? Hold on. Recap. You're paying the mortgage, trash bill, homeowners insurance, all gas bills for everyone in this household, and they're paying the electricity bill. Okay. Okay. I'm still living in the house we relocated to this winter. It's an empty home that's in my family because after serious consideration, I realized that moving back to my house with them would cause my mental health to tank. I have a history of depression and low self-esteem. I'm learning we are not particularly compatible housemates. I'm brash and intense, much cleaner than they are, and I can't stand their dogs barking every time I open the door. I don't like hanging out with them anymore, and I find myself either angry or feeling like I must perform friendliness. Oof. Oof. I'm not trying to be whiny, but I'm at my wit's end. All of my stuff is still at my original house with my housemates. I'm paying the bulk of the bills and I retain full liability if anything happens. I fully believe everyone should have safe housing, food, water, and healthcare. I also feel like the original agreement, sharing farm work and household expenses and caring for each other, are completely null. I'm 32. I want to move home, not live on a couch with a half-functioning stove. I'm no longer in the emotional and mental state I was when I invited them, nor when they arrived. I'm very concerned that we have no housemate or renter agreements in writing. Oh no. Oh no. And that they promise to pay for bills that they can't cover, and they have no plans for heating the house this winter. Anytime I try to bring this up, I'm told now is not the time for that discussion. You got to get these people out of your house. You have to get these people out of your house. Now is not the time for that discussion. Several friends have suggested I ask them to leave, but frankly, I want them to four pets and their stuff gone. But D'Angelo, they can barely pay their own phone bill, let alone the rent on an apartment. They've scheduled important surgeries for the next 2 months. They have disabilities and chronic illnesses and no understanding of what preparations for the future mean. How on earth could I, in good conscience, kick them out? Support for people like them is shrinking every day. I am scared to answer this. Okay, can we start from what to me is an obvious position? Everyone should have access to housing without having to worry about how to fund that. Is number one. That opinion's not going to change, and it doesn't get revoked just because you live in a place where you haven't been paying bills. And my solution is not that these people get put in a place where they are no longer safe and housed. So I'm starting there. And this person never actually put anything in writing. The OP never actually said what the agreement was. It says that they said they were ready to, quote, help work on said farm, and that the agreement was made public as they were using GoFundMe to help with moving expenses. But that doesn't actually sound like an agreement. that doesn't actually sound like you were very clear on what was going to be happening or the length of time that this would be occurring. So whereas I'm glad that currently everyone is housed, it sounds like this person is saying this is coming at the expense of their own happiness and at great financial imposition towards them. Oh my god. So I think this is beyond your pay grade. I would agree. I think like I feel like this person made a mistake. It's never a mistake to help someone ever, but I just feel like a lot of this could have been avoided with clearer language in the beginning. But how can you say someone made a mistake when they were literally trying to help friends who were struggling through something and needed help covering their medical bills and also didn't have anywhere to live and had to get their moving expenses through GoFundMe? So they didn't make a mistake. I actually don't think OP did anything wrong. And I don't think it's wrong to say, hey, I agreed to help work on this farm, but actually it's impacting my health negatively. And if you don't have money to pay for these other things, then you don't have it. So, like these people being without a home is not the answer. But it's not even but. And I just think all of you and all the people involved need to come together and start talking about what the future looks like in a way that's maximally advantageous for everyone. I'm very glad that currently it sounds like some people's needs are being met in some ways, but like, oh my God, that is wild, dog. Reading chat. There's a lot of, someone said this requires communication. Yes, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, okay, we get it. We know what's happening here. Well, it doesn't sound like the situation's magically going to change. So I think the next step would be outlining a series of next steps, honestly. Someone said the biggest problem I'm seeing is the unwillingness to have a conversation about it all. Yes, and I forgot about that because there was so much text here. This is the part that actually really bothers me. Every time I try to bring up any of this, by the way, being this person saying, hey, I'm struggling financially and I don't feel like we're operating on the same agreement that we were. They get hit with the, now is not the time for that discussion. That's not right. This is one example in which I believe the people who are living in this house are obviously in the wrong. Why would you dismiss anybody's concerns for any reason? Like, it's always the right reason to try to move towards something that is more beneficial for everyone involved. So the fact that they're completely unwilling to talk to you about parts of this that may be difficult for you is not, that's not good. Oh my God. And I'm glad that this person isn't just outright kicking people out of their house, but like, oh man. Someone said the mistake is logistical, not moral. You've got a budget, so you're not giving more than what you have. That also includes making sure you have surpluses in case. Yeah, they didn't do anything wrong, but they may have made an action that has now made things harder for them. But yeah, that is really tricky. Someone says it feels to me like they're taking advantage of OP, especially considering his history with low esteem and depression. That's really hard to say when we have, I agree that they could be read this way easily. Very hard to say when we have no idea how this communication is actually like taking place. But ultimately, OP offered these people a place and said, you can live with me as long as what? You agree to work on the farm, whatever that means. And I feel like revoking a place that you've offered. Oh, how do you do that without being the worst person ever? Wow, that is interesting. Yeah, I don't really have. I'm sure probably like there is a very maybe there's a very obvious and simple way of framing this, and I'm complicating it unnecessarily, but it feels kind of complex to me. Someone said, "What does Prudence say?" Let's check. Good time to check. Dear, never wanted this. You're such a good person. I'm sincerely moved by your care for these friends and the way you're living out your belief that everyone deserves to be safe, housed, and cared for. I agree. Prudence says, I'm not going to lecture you about the decisions that led to this unsustainable agreement, but I will remind you that you're a person who deserves a home, security, and well-being too. It seems like you've just about given up these things because of your big heart. Helping others is wonderful, but when it destabilizes your life and risks turning you into someone who is drained of everything you have to offer the world, that's a sign that something needs to change. Wait a second. I think Prudence might be a W. Hold on. There's no perfect solution here because we don't live in a world or a country where there are resources to ensure that everyone who falls on hard times is okay. Yeah. I didn't have the words to say that. I had the knowledge that I feel like there is not really an answer here, but I couldn't identify why. But Prudence has actually very wisely pointed out, if we want to assign blame, it's going to the wrong people. It's not the friend's fault or the people living there that we should be relying on the accommodation of individual people doing philanthropy for people to have the housing that they need. So this frustration, nobody actually can direct it to the right place. I strongly agree with this. People really do lose everything due to illness and unemployment. The concern you feel for your friends is real, but there are some options, low-income housing for people with disabilities, for example, that you should look into and help them apply for as a start. You mentioned that your state allows your friends to receive health insurance and heating assistance, which makes me hopeful that funds and organizations designed to help people who are down on their luck exist there and hopefully don't have massive waiting lists. Is it your job to lead the search for solutions? No, but your letter tells me you're going to do all you can to make sure these people are okay. Yeah, that makes sense. You're also going to have to set some limits. First on the list, you can't afford to be their chauffeur. I agree. $515 a month in gas expenses for rides that you're not taking is a lot. And you can't afford to allow them to live for free because you need paying tenants for your own financial security and survival. This doesn't mean you kick them out onto the street. Give them a deadline, 3 months after the last scheduled surgery so they have time to recover. Once you share that date and sound firmer than you feel about it, they won't be able to deny this is the right time for a conversation about moving on and will hopefully be open to talking about possibilities for the next arrangement. That may be with another friend. They've been willing to impose on you and trample on your boundaries. Oof. I don't know if I love this wording of trampling on boundaries, but the positive aspect about that is it indicates they do it to someone else too. You're not the only person they know. As you sort all of this out, they should move off your property into that empty family home where you're currently crashing so you can return to your life. Of course, this time you'll have an agreement in writing. Yeah. So was that just gas? Oh, maybe it wasn't. Maybe I'm misunderstanding the 515 thing. Oh, my bad. Chat, I have no reading comprehension. $500 was gas, homeowners insurance, trash, and mortgage, I think. Your mortgage coming in under $500. How did you manage that? I would like to know. But yeah, okay, so it's $500 a month total expenses, not just transportation. But also, like, that's a lot of money to be paying for things that are not directly, like, accounted for, that you had not previously budgeted for. That's such a low mortgage. Anyways, oh man. Yeah, this one sucks a lot. Someone said 3 months after surgery for disabled people is very short. Yeah, even Prudence's idea that like these friends are imposing and trampling on boundaries, that I don't agree with. They need help. Sometimes people need help, and so I'm glad that they're being helped. I do think like sometimes though you still have to confront people even when you're helping them, and so you definitely need to have a conversation with them about their reluctance to engage with you about trying to express how you're feeling. But yeah, I think too, low key, I'm making excuses and I don't care. I do low key worry that they're probably very scared of your answer. Right here, where does it say that it wasn't the time to discuss it? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, every time I try to bring up any of this, I'm told now is not the time for that discussion. This may not be solely because they're completely like, I don't know, inconsiderate. They may be literally terrified that this discussion ends in them not having a home. So I do feel like as long as you are clear and be like, hey, I'm not planning on making any changes in the short term. But I would still like to have a conversation about some things that are not working for me that I think we could make easier. That would probably maybe go over better. I could totally see just being like, I don't want to talk about this, because if we do talk about this, does that mean that we don't have somewhere to live? So it's tricky. And I think you have to give people grace for sure. Someone says, I do kind of think the friend is imposing if they're avoiding communication. Yeah, that's the only imposition. This is the only part in this whole thing where I'm just like, oh, this isn't good. But yeah, oh man, that's whoever said they wanted to read this, why'd you do that? Who said that they wanted to read the farm friends question? You set me up. I think it was a good one. But yeah, hopefully nothing I said was like, I don't know, offensive. I oh my god, that is rough, buddy. Someone says it's like not everybody sucks, but everything sucks. Yes. Usually in Reddit, these aren't Reddit posts, but in Reddit posts where we read one where everybody just sucks, you will say in the comment section, you know what, everybody sucks here. But right here, no one sucks, even if people have done things or doing things that are not optimal or whatever. But everything sucks. The condition itself is bad. Someone says society is the real a-hole for that one. Yeah, no, that's rough. And that one's rough, buddy. I do feel like if you're reading this and you're taking this from the approach of like, welfare is bad and kick them out, they'll figure it out. That's just a horrifically not empathetic way of engaging with it. Even though at one point I think I did say you need to get these people out of your house, but that was when I read that they were refusing to have a conversation. I think it said after that that they were struggling with their medical bills, etc. But yeah, no, like, dog, that's rough. Someone says, I mean, these things are real and I think worth the discussion. They're worth the discussion. I just try to not botch the discussion. That's all I hope. It's easy to botch these things and come on super strong against, like, it almost sounds like you're arguing against like welfare, and that's absolutely never what I'm doing, honestly. Someone says a friend farm sounds kind of lit. I would happily live on a friend farm. I think in general, sometimes does anybody daydream about like communal living? Sometimes I just do. And I'm just like, dog, I'm happy as I am within reason. But what if me and a bunch of other people just lived in one space and we all took care of it in our own ways and we split responsibilities and we felt like life was easier to live because it wasn't just me out for myself, but it was all of us doing things together, slightly decreasing the workload or the fear. If any one person was to stumble a little bit, we could help them. Yeah, I think about that a lot. I definitely think about that. Someone's like communal living is where it's at. Someone's I've only been thinking about it since birth. Yeah. Oh man, it would be a dream to be on a farm with a community, but these things come up and it complicates. Yeah, this isn't even to say that like it would be perfect, but I certainly think it could feel more manageable than some things we deal with now. We yearn for villagers, literally. Someone said, "Egad, you mean you dream of communism, D'Angelo?" Okay, don't tell the conservatives. Oh no. All my hobbies would converge. Yes. Someone's pretty sure it's the only way I can find happiness in this world. Well, I don't think it's okay. Here's me like making it too deep. I don't think it's any secret that all the things we do online are us literally just virtually living communally. That's what we do. I think literally every single person looks around at their life, and not every single person, but everyone here for sure who is on the internet looks around at their life and is maybe happy with it in some respects or unhappy in other respects. But you naturally gravitate towards spaces where there are more people, and where there are rules and agreements and understandings. That's what fandom space is. When I was younger in the art community, like, it was very that was very much the energy. We had our rules. We had our house, if you will, which were the specific apps that we were on. We had our understandings and agreements, and people would come and they would go, and we would take care of each other and we would help each other with things. We would try to support each other where we could. I just think like people want to do this. I mean, I don't know anything about what people want, but even me, somebody who is not a very overtly social person, I still crave that, because it doesn't even mean you have to be an extrovert in this context. It's so interesting. Someone said, I find that type of energy in this chat for sure. That makes me happy. It really does. I like the idea of just a space where people feel like it's not just you talking into the void. It's maybe more than one person talking into the void. It's nice. It's nice indeed. Anyways, I do not have time to go through Reddit because I've been streaming for 3 hours and 55 minutes and 36 seconds as of right now. But that just means we can do it later. So I'm sorry, because somebody asked me if I would read those posts and I explicitly told them to stick around. And now it's not happening. But as I said, get your vaccine boosters. Tdap booster is a great thing to get. You don't want tetanus. You don't want diphtheria. You don't want whooping cough. So I'm proud of myself for getting that booster yesterday. But it still made me really tired. I've been a little bit brain foggy during the stream, but I think it came out really well and I enjoyed this discussion a lot. So thank you everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm gonna be back on Saturday, so literally like I never left. All right, bye everybody. Let's see, stop streaming.